The following is brought to you by the People's National Party.
Make the trumpets play. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. To get champion, we can do it together. When we look to the future of precipice, we see Jamaica needs the vision of the PNP. People said the bag of promises, them can't carry go shop. And the crime rate getting higher, wonder when it a go stop, comrades. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. To get champion.
The proceeding was brought to you by the People's National Party.
All right. Pleasant morning, right? To some, right, it's afternoon, some it's evening, and some it's night, right? Wherever you are, right? A pleasant morning to you all, right? Melting Pot will be forwarding soon within the next right few minutes, right? But my people, I want to say once again big thanks for passing through, right? We are seeing the people just tuning into the live, right? Welcome to you all, right? And let me just do a little roll call as it relates to persons who right are present in the chat at this time. I want to say bless up Carla Banks, right? Big up yourself, right? Thank you for passing through again. Azil Mafia, right? Big up yourself. Lindell Mark Carmack, big up yourself to you, right? Music, my love. One, good afternoon, Mystic. Good afternoon to you as well, right? Christopher Wright. Good afternoon, Mystic. Good afternoon to you as well. Falmouth Girl, you know, of course, Falmouth Girl, you know that you are, one of our ardent listeners. All right. Aero 60, right? Bless up yourself, right? Daniel Taylor, right? Big up yourself. He said, up, Brother Byron. Good afternoon and happy Friday. Same to you, my brother. Right? Lola. Wiz, all right, pleasant afternoon to everyone, right? On behalf of the platform, we are saying the same to you, right? Jonathan Johnson, right? And Winnie Mead, right? Mr. Mystic, all right, bless yourself and doing Henry, right? And all right, for people who are just coming in, right? And Umbrella, welcome to you all. This morning, people, right, we have some interesting topics that we are going to be going to delve into, and I am going to shake up, right, Jamaica, both in the diaspora, right, and locally speaking. I'm going to shake up you people this morning with what I have here. But before I get into that, let me just give you a rundown in terms of what I have, right? On the subtopic, wrong move, not good. We are going to be dealing with that, right? And under that subheading, believe you me, people, for persons who have any doubt that Andrew Holness is 100% pure evil, this is going to confirm, right, what I am always saying, right? And I was 100% right. Now, of course, we're going to touch about the engineer group, right? I'm giving advice to Andrew Holness. And my research last night had given me the reason for me to get back to that subtopic, right? We'll be dealing with leptospirosis on the rise, right? And I thought, when I see that as it relates to leptospirosis on the rise, goes back to that World Bank lady who claimed that Andrew Holness had performed well, right? So silly. Now, bragging about more depth, right? We are going to be diving into that. Diarty Labour Right Council Andrew, that is no joke. And of course, we left the best seasoning. Is World War III imminent? That is something that we are going to bite into. But for this, I want to wake up Jamaica, wake up the world as it relates to what Andrew Holness administration decided to do. And remember, Jamaica, we were telling Andrew Holness when he came out with the 5,000 containers that no, that's not a good idea. That's not a good idea. But what I found last night, I start to realize that, hold on. Why is it that Andrew Holness administration always, and I want to be careful with my choice of words this morning, why is it that Andrew Holness administration always tend to associate themselves with people who involve or allege to have involved in serious corruption? Serious corruption. Jamaica, let me ask you a question. Do you know that Andrew Holness administration is now planning, right, to have the relief program in a giant operation with a particular group of persons that known, right, to have caused some serious corruption? And I mean, when it comes to aid, that this particular group collected billions of dollars in aid and did not give most of it to the recipient who's supposed to receive it. This set of persons involved in that, Andrew Holness now is linking up with such entity. And I am saying, okay, now you can see it clear, Jamaica, that Andrew Holness have no care for the people who are suffering. But he's now bringing in crony capitalism for them to feed themselves and him to be benefited. Now, I wonder if Andrew Holness administration did not do any research on this entity. And of course, I know very well that the Prime Minister administration, right, would have privy of that information as it relates to the world. Not only a few people, right? The globe know about it and blame this entity, right, for Haiti's peril. Blame this entity for Haiti's peril. This was the very same entity that went to Haiti to say that, okay, they are going to aid, they are going to assist Haiti, they are going to help Haiti. If today that you speak to any Haitian, they are going to tell you that this entity is a corrupted entity. Every Haitian hate this entity because this entity suffer them. This entity collect billions in aid as it relates to 80 circumstances, but did not give it to them. The amount that they had, that this entity had given an 80, trust me, was less than 1/10 of what they collected. And they had given it to big, huge companies. You can't get it wicked, more cruel than that. But guess what? It is the same entity, the very same entity, Babsy Grange. So when Andrew Holness went on the so-called funeral or wherever he went, you understand, trying to take away himself from it, and have Babsy Grange, right, run this program. It is a well-designed program. From once you start to talk about the containers, we now connected the dot in terms of where you're going. Maybe the people don't understand me yet, but when I'm going through the program, the people are going to realize what I'm talking about. Now, my Jamaican people, look at this and look who Andrew Holness, right, linked up with. You understand, to deal with the aid situation in Jamaica. Remember now, Jamaica, remember now, that Andrew Holness administration collect billions, right, as it relates to aid. Tons of deliveries Andrew Holness have right now, right, in warehouse. And believe you me, not even quarter of that has been distributed to the suffrage. So then, what is Andrew Holness up to? And now Andrew Holness is going to partner with this entity that the Haitian, right, is saying that this entity is extremely corrupt, and not the Haitian alone is saying, the United States. Several people in the United States are saying it. Now, watch this now, people. Look where I'm going. Let me show you the evidence. Let me show you the evidence. Let me share this evidence with you. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Look at this, people. We are going to get it. This is unbelievable in terms of what Andrew Holness is doing. Now, I 100% confirm, Andrew Holness, that yes, you don't like our people. You are suffering them. You are definitely suffering them. Here it is, people. Government signal possible Clinton Foundation role in hurricane recovery. Now, let me ask a question. Babsy Grange and Andrew Holness, have you done any research on the Clinton Foundation? I am asking that question. Have you done any research on the Clinton's Foundation? And why is it that your administration tend to want to align yourself with people who allege to have serious corruption problem? Now let us get into the detail and show the people. We are going to show some things as it relates to what is going on here. Here it is. Here it is. Government signal possible Clinton Foundation role in hurricane recovery. See them, my people. Here it is. Brian Jardim. So you see this, people. Look at this. This is the art of crony capitalist. This is corruption right here, as you see it, people. Darrell Vaz, Bill Clinton, Brian Jardim, Desmond McKenzie, Babsy Grange, Matthew Samuda. Now, this, people, listen to me. This here, what you see right here, is the art of corruption. And let me ask you a question. Babsy Grange, Andrew Warner's administration, have you done the research on Bill Clinton Foundation? I am going to show you certain evidence that you shouldn't have gone there. You link up with Bill Clinton Foundation, all eyes in the Caribbean, open wide. Eyes in the United States, open wide. And I'm going to show you. I am going to show you. Jamaica is looking to partner with the Clinton Foundation to assist with Hurricane Melissa recovery. Wrong move. Bad move. Seriously wrong move. According to Minister Olivia Grange, who is in charge of the government, the announcement followed a meeting with former United States President Bill Clinton in St. Andrew on Thursday. Let me just stop sharing this and take this away. Now, why is it a bad move? I am going to show the people why it is a bad move. This is not only a bad move, this is a terrible move. This now gone to the heart of what we talk about, crony capitalism. Right? We know that the Bill Clinton Foundation, what they had done in Haiti was to damage Haiti. The same situation as it relates to Bill Clinton Foundation, rushed to Haiti aid and damage Haiti. Majority of the donations being collected, right? Majority of the funding did not go to the Haitian. Did not go to the Haitian. Bill Clinton came later, decades after, to apologize for that. And after the apology, Bill Clinton Foundation again committed another atrocity. Did you know that, Andrew Honest? After Bill Clinton come years, decades after, and apologized for what they had done with the Haitian people, they still continue to prey on the weak and vulnerable. And you should know about this. And that is the reason why Jamaican people, guess what? Let me talk to you before I bring up the evidence. This is where it seems like Andrew Holness been studying the Clinton of that level of corruption. Watch this. The very same containers that Andrew Holness talking about to put Jamaican people in. Guess what? It was a program that established by the Bill Clinton Foundation and put the Asian people right in the same container. And many of them suffer some serious ailment. This no normal what Andrew Holness administration is doing right now. Right, Andrew Holness, I catch you weird. Definitely, I can show the evidence in terms of what you're doing. You have no love for Jamaican people and you want to hurt us. You understand? You want to hurt us. You definitely, from once you link with the Clinton Foundation, nothing can tell me anymore that you care for our people. Based on the history of what Bill Clinton Foundation done. Now, let me show the evidence, people. I want you to listen. I want you to listen for yourself. Right? Even Donald Trump told Hillary Clinton to her face, that she is wicked and evil. And what she needed to do was to give back the Haitian the money that her agency had taken from the Haitian. The Haitian doesn't want to hear Bill Clinton Foundation in their nowhere in their ear space. The Haitian, no Haitian. From once you speak of Bill Clinton Foundation in Haiti, they will eat you. Because of the experience with the Bill Clinton Foundation. Now, enough of me. Hear it for yourself. Let me go into that. Enough of me. Hear it for yourself. Let me share the information to you people. Andrew Holness is a vicious person. Let us share this information. What research have you done, Andrew Holness? Let me share it to the Jamaican people. You are cruel. You are a victimizer.
That ravaged Haiti, killing more than 316,000 people, leaving at least 1 million homeless. The country's slowly begun to build, but efforts have been slow in a country that was already one of the poorest in the Western Hemisphere before the earthquake hit. Critics have faulted the efforts of international donors, including the U.S., for failing to deliver on pledges while exerting excessive control of the reconstruction process. Former President Bill Clinton has played a major role in relief efforts, serving as the UN Special Envoy to Haiti and as co-chair of the interim Haiti Recovery Commission. Through his Clinton Foundation, the former president has helped fund a number of projects in Haiti. Well, a new investigative report from The Nation magazine takes a critical look at the Clinton Foundation's first Recovery Commission project in post-earthquake Haiti, the construction of shelters in the city of Léogâne. President Clinton first announced the project in a video on his foundation's website.
Many of you have expressed your interest in the progress being made in Haiti as the nation continues to recover from the earthquake. I wanted to give you just a quick update of some of our ongoing efforts to help the people build back better. The recent cholera outbreak serves as a stark reminder of the urgency we face to address the strengthened reconstruction efforts in Haiti. After the outbreak, my foundation responded, allocating $1 million to the government so that we could move supplies down there in a hurry. In addition to the health outbreaks, the hurricane season remains a threat, especially to those still living in camps. My foundation has contributed $1 million there to the construction of emergency storm shelters in Léogâne.
But according to a new expose in The Nation magazine, the shelters turned out to be a series of trailers beset with problems, including mold, shoddy construction, in one case, worrying levels of formaldehyde. The trailers are also built by the same company, Clayton Homes, that's currently being sued in the U.S. for providing formaldehyde-laced trailers to displaced residents after Hurricane Katrina. A student and teacher at a school housed in the trailers described the conditions there.
The class gets so hot, kids get headaches, and we go to the teacher for him to give us painkillers.
I believe that the Grand Foundation of Clinton, given that we're speaking of a school, Clinton would build latrines for us so that the children can go to the toilet safely, given that we're under the iron rule of cholera. It's not finished. It's not too late. We're waiting for a lot of things from Clinton, and Clinton can do good things for Haiti.
That video clip is courtesy of The Nation magazine and the Canadian Centre for Investigative Reporting. Well, for more, we're joined by the journalists who broke the story, Isabel McDonald and Isabeau Doucette. Their piece, The Shelters That Clinton Built, is in the July 11th issue of The Nation magazine, online at thenation.com. Isabeau, talk more about what you found.
Well, Clinton, this was one of the first projects of the commission, and there's been very little transparency and accountability despite all these buzzwords, you know, sustainable development, community consultation around this commission. It's kind of widely seen as very opaque and labyrinthian. So we thought we'd just pick one project and really investigate it. And since this was one of the first, and it was one of the few that's actually completed, we thought, you know, perfect. And what we found was, I mean, not only are these hurricane-proof shelters, trailers, which cannot be hurricane-proof according to, you know, U.S. standards, but, you know, they were riddled with any number of problems. They're extremely hot, they're leaking, there's mold, you know, there's visibly already starting to rot, even though they're freshly installed. So we thought, given that Clinton himself was the one who coined this term, build back better, we're going to build back better Haiti. What does this mean as for what's to come of the commission's projects?
Isabel McDonald, Clayton Homes, can you explain where these trailers came from and the problems they've had after Hurricane Katrina?
Well, we've been requesting documentation of any bidding process from the Clinton Foundation, and we have not gotten documentation. We know that they were built by Clayton Homes, which is currently being sued in the United States for exposing Hurricane Katrina survivors to injurious levels of formaldehyde, which the plaintiffs in this FEMA formaldehyde lawsuit claim came as a direct result of them residing in trailers that Clayton Homes had sold to FEMA. The Clinton Foundation has not answered our questions about any due diligence that was done. We know that trailers are considered a liability in the United States. In the case of a hurricane, FEMA tells Americans to evacuate trailers. And so the real question is, how did Bill Clinton think that this would be acceptable in Haiti to provide these trailers as hurricane shelters, to buy them from a company facing this kind of lawsuit over formaldehyde? And what does it say about the reconstruction efforts in Haiti if the very first project approved by the commission that's supposed to ensure accountability and transparency in Haiti's rebuilding passes this kind of project? And Bill Clinton himself has his hands all over it. And he is the co-chair of this commission that is supposed to ensure that Haiti is built back better.
We're going to have to leave it there, but we'll link to The Nation and your investigation. Isabel McDonald, Isabel Doucette, thank you very much. The piece is called The Trailers That Clinton Built. This is Democracy Now! I'm Amy Goodman. Thanks so much for joining.
All right, let us stop, share this document, and we have other evidence, right, where that is concerned. And so, of course, we are going to, but let me just bring up Melting Pot on stage to, right, meet and greet his people before we go into the next clip. Yes, Melting Pot, meet and greet.
Yeah, pleasant good afternoon, as usual. You know, nice to be here, better late than ever. And I mean, so far the topic of discussion is very interesting, and you know, I hope to make it.
Can you speak up a little bit louder?
Topic of discussion, yeah, we know it's very interesting at the moment. So later on, it will get more intriguing when the melting pot step in. So, and back the floor to the host as usual.
All right, thank you, Melting Pot. Let us proceed with with our evidence that we have here, right? And now we find that now Andrew Holness now is linking up now Jamaica with the Clintons Foundation. Let us get to the next evidence, right? We are in no joke over here, and we are here to protect our people. Now, let us get into this.
Of the crimes that Bill and Hillary Clinton are responsible for in Haiti.
Haiti was used as a cover for foreign governments to funnel kickbacks of possibly hundreds of millions of dollars to the Clinton Foundation, done in exchange for favors that Hillary was doing for them as Secretary of State.
The most devastating humanitarian crisis that Hillary Clinton faced during her tenure at the State Department was the tragic earthquake in Haiti. 250,000 people were estimated to have died. And in that, a natural disaster creates opportunities for rebuilding to take place, but also for self-enrichment to take place. Up to $13 billion from international relief organizations were committed. But who were the beneficiaries of this? Hillary Clinton made visits to Haiti. And Bill Clinton was named co-chair of the Interim Haiti Recovery Commission. So this was clearly a Clinton operation from the beginning. The problem is that the Clintons had their own agenda. And Haitians complained almost immediately that they were shut out of the decision-making process. So you had contracts going to these relief organizations that were also involved with the Clinton Global Initiative. Sometimes the contractors had experience, sometimes they did not. You see that the people that are closest to the Clintons have made out very well from the Haitian earthquake. The rest of the country, the ordinary people of Haiti, not so much.
An outrage there is growing over the largely failed reconstruction effort, despite the hundreds of millions of dollars in aid that has been collected and spent.
And what took place, rather than rebuilding Haiti, was the self-enrichment by friends of the Clintons.
Okay. All right. So we want, right, for us to understand, right, as it relates to where we are going, right, with this, showing evidence, right? Now, let me share another document here. Let me just share another document here. Right? Okay. Let me just cancel that. Okay, cancel. And get back here. All right. So what we have, that we have Donald Trump himself, right? During a debate, informing Clinton, let me just get back that. Let me just go in WhatsApp here and bring up that document, right? Because I was supposed to. Let me just copy that and bring up back this, because we want to show that evidence as well, right, to the people of Jamaica. All right. Hold on, people. Let me just get the right information here. Just hold on a bit. Let me just get the right information. Let me just test this. Right.
Years since the devastating earthquake that ravaged Haiti.
Okay. Somehow I just that information slide, but based on what we have there, right? I wanted was to find the clip as it relates to what Donald Trump's said to Hillary Clinton, that she need to give back the Haitian the money. But my Jamaican people, as you heard it, as it relates to the evidence, that Bill Clinton, right, used the crisis of Haiti, and of course, definitely generated over $13 billion US. $13 billion US. And my Jamaican people, Haiti has not gotten $1 billion out of that. Haiti has not gotten $1 billion out of the $13 billion that Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton collected on behalf of the Haitian people. Using their crisis, collected $13 billion. And here it is that Andrew Michael Holness, and Babsy Grange, and Andrew Holness' entire administration is asking, right, Hillary Clinton to be a part of, the whole process of relief, right, and reconstruction process. You are asking an entity that involved in such a destruction to the Haiti people as it relates to the allegations that's been coming out, and where Hillary Clinton himself had apologized. Hillary Clinton himself had apologized for that. And after his apology, right, he went and do another program, right, and carried off the same shenanigans. So you tell me, Jamaica, if Andrew Holness' administration is not doing any research, tell me that you are going to go into an entity. Now, remember, people, it's going over a month and adding up, right? And Andrew Holness have not distributed 3/4 of those aids that he had gotten in. Have not enough. You tell me, what could be the problem that avoiding Andrew Holness, right, not to be distributing these aids? What is the problem? And now you're going to tell me after a month, you are now going to hook up with the Bill Clinton Foundation that ravished Haiti. Andrew Holness is sick out of head. So then, based on what the Bill Clinton had done in Haiti, and not only in Haiti, you are going to again give. No, me not understand. Me not understand this. Me not understand this. Me can't understand it. Me can't understand it. Andrew Holness, you know the evidence. And if you don't know the evidence, well, Mystic Sensation and Melting Pot, you are presenting now to you. So, where do you go from here? Are you still going to continue down the vein of dealing with the Clinton's Foundation? That they have a track record as it relates to the allegation of criminality and corruption? Are you going to do that? What is going to happen now as it relates to the reconstruction of the Jamaican people who suffered Melissa's victim? What is going to happen to these people? Because you have seen what happened to the Asian victims that suffer, right? That damage from the earthquake. How did Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton treated them? Treated them like dogs. Treated them like dogs. Put them in containers, right? And have not given them any form of good homes or anything. It is the very same thing you are proceeding. So let me just ease and just bring Melting Pot in the space. Melting Pot, what say you on the matter?
Well, this is a matter that raises eyebrow and a cause for concern that relate to what we know Andrew Holness is capable of and what we know him like to practice corruption. But you see the whole revelation surrounding this is the name Bill Clinton and his foundation. And I mean, Andrew Holness and Babsy Green should have known about what took place in Haiti and also Louisiana State in the United States of America on the back of Hurricane Katrina. Yeah. So we know when time the earthquake damaged Haiti, yeah, him get a big investment at 13 billion US. Yeah. And everybody know what happened to that. Yeah. As you rightfully said, the Asian only benefit 1 billion out of that. And him and Hillary gone with the rest and the cronies them around him. Yeah. And so we ask the question, why would Andrew Holness administration want to go into partnership with Bill Clinton Foundation when the foundation have two strike of corruption and theft tied towards it? Yeah. So we know the whole spectrum of where Andrew Holness are deal with. Andrew Holness are deal with a high level corruption right now because so much money at him disposal, you know. And he want to move everything out of Jamaica and see outside partnership to carry out him corruption. You see all this housing problem as it relates to the container. We don't tell him long time, so them they're not feasible, you know. Neither even temporary. Because if you have to wait 90 days, yeah, you should have go and work on the houses them. But if you notice, Andrew and him people them, you know, can't tell you what type of assessment them do as it relate to the houses them are damaged, you know. How much rooftop to go up on, yeah, how much for build back. Yeah. Because I mean we know not every house get damaged completely. So Andrew should I use the 90-day grace period when I wait for the container and start work on the house and cut out the corruption. Yeah, where I seek outside of Jamaica in partnership with the Clinton them. Put the people them in a Jamaica to work and get the program rolling because several rooftop would have gone on back, you know. To show you the man evil and wicked, you know. The man take all the insurance money, you know, and fling it over GPS just to slow up the restoration program of the houses them. So him can complete him corruption deal where him want strike behind my back. But we are call it out for him, you know. There can be no partnership with the Clinton them. Yeah. Because you get enough help already, you know, from the World Bank, IMF, and the Inter Development Bank, IDB. and several countries also give you donation. Yeah, and you get whole heap of supply from people. So you're supposed to have everything fine-tuned now. You never have it fine-tuned before, but we know you have it fine-tuned now. Plus you get $6.7 billion. Yeah. Plus you get another 70 million from CARICOM. So you have a whole vast amount of resource around you right now. So I don't know why you want to see outside intervention to go into partnership to carry out this restoration program.
Exactly.
When Jamaica have, yeah, Jamaica have people capable enough to carry out this task. Look how long Jamaicans have built Jamaica. All them house up on the hillside where you live in, and the rest them. How will build them? You go on like you want to undermine Jamaican and the skill set we're in Jamaica. Stop your foolishness and your corruption. This must not go through. And I'm glad fool would have signed up for them container house there. Because them no good. International audit done pan them and prove so them no good. You hear what type of sickness the people them develop from in them houses there. Lung cancer, all type of thing, pneumonia, everything. So I don't know where my car this come go, but the guy is a thief and a criminal. And this is how him operate. And we have to make him know it straight to him face. So who no one understand Sir Andrew a big time criminal? Just listen to where I go on right now with the container houses them. Look who him want go in a partnership with and check them track record. Them have 2 strike already against them name. Even Trump call the wife Hillary Clinton evil because of what them do to the nation them. Yeah. Them help destroy Haiti to an extent where Haiti can't rebuild back. So it's only a corrupted type of leader. No would I try for partnership with somebody who ravish our entire country already, you know. And also ravish a state in a one country, you know. And member said, them owe a lot of people. Them run off with the loot, them are criminal. And that wasn't a secret. It was well established and documented. So I don't know where Andrew and Babsy are going with this. This can't have no place now with society. And then poor people come pick up this plaque and pay back the money where my squander in a corruption. Yeah? One partnership with some criminal, some established criminal already. You know, say Andrew Wallace despise the people in Jamaica. Jamaican wake up and see, man, these are factors for no factor into consideration. This kind of one have nothing to do with Jamaican. This guy are leaving out of everything. Every farmer investment I go on in Jamaica. The man a seek outside intervention. Why? Why? He must have something to hide. Why you can't open the book in front of your own classroom? You must have something to hide when at the book. So we have said to Andrew only scrap this idea, you know. You so much warning you get with these container houses. Remember, Builders Trade Association in your own country, you know. Warn you upon them. Me I warn you upon them, Mystic warn you upon them. Lonesome warn you upon them. Take heed. Take heed. And stop your hanky-panky business because you're in a corruption up to your neck already, you know. What kind of more corruption you want to drown yourself, you know? This time you think on the opposite side of corruption. Think about production. You don't see where the country reach under your administration. The country is in dire strait. And you're going on as if you're this, you know, wonderful servant of the people. You're a piece of shit. Stop it. I yield back the floor to you, my brother.
All right, wonderful. Now, let me show you something, Jamaica, because melting pot, as it relates to, right, the Jamaica Labour Party administration now hooking up with the Bill Clinton Foundation, right, and based on the history of Bill Clinton Foundation. Why would anyone want to go there? Because if you're going to venture into business, right, with someone, and you're probably, right, you know, I mean, government issues, you're going to do a research. And having the history of what Bill Clinton have, right? That would be a no-no, right? As it relates to, right, the allegation into corruption, and not only the allegation into corruption, to the fact that now Bill Clinton admitted, right, that certain things, were wrong, right? That now cement, and not that he only admitted on that occasion. After admitting, right, he went again and engaged in other situation, right, where corruption again falter. So to me, right, for the Prime Minister to seek out, right, and knowing to the fact that, okay, all right, he would have been aware of what the Clinton's foundation had done in Haiti, devastatingly, because this is it, $13 billion, you understand, definitely went through the Bill Clinton program to Haiti, and the purpose was to redevelop, reconstruct, right, homes that were damaged and all of that. But yet, right, it did not serve the purpose as it ought to serve. What Bill Clinton Foundation had done with that $13 billion, Haiti did not even get, you understand, 1 billion. Haiti did not even get 1 billion. I think what Haiti did get roughly about 3 million US, right? And all the rest of the money, you understand, went to facilitate program that automatically connect back to the Bill Clinton, and where the kickbacks and everything went on. And so then, okay, all right, you would have known this history, right? It is not hiding. It is on the internet. CNN, you understand, CBC, right? ABC, all of them. You understand, Fox News, you understand, have this information. So then, if you are doing your research and you said, okay, all right, you want to help the Jamaican people and you really want someone, you understand, to come join you at this juncture, right? To say, okay, all right, let us move in a very professional manner, checks and balance and transparency. Why chose the Clinton? Why chose the Clinton? That is my big question. Why chose the Clinton where this is a public record? This is a public record. And what mainstream media need to do, mainstream media need to carry this information and ask Babsy Grange, ask Andrew Holness that as a result of the information, the allegation against Bill Clinton Foundation, why use this foundation in Jamaica? They will have to answer. This is a question that need to ask of them, and they have to give us, you understand, some substantial reason as to why you chose, right, the Clinton Foundation to deal with, the rebuilding, right, and yet you are talking about container homes. It was one of the same program that Clinton used, and where it suffered. Many Asian came out, right, and spoke about the container homes, right? Some were even used for classrooms, and it has devastating effect. So then here now, Andrew Holness now is doing container. Where do you get this concept? Where do you get this concept from? We have an NHT all right, you know what? Before I get there, let me get into, because I have to bring back the program that I brought yesterday, right? And show that Jamaican top builders are telling Andrew Holness that the containers are not feasible, right? But guess what? My Jamaican people, I done further research, and I am going to show you where, professional people are saying that the container homes are a scam. And they are going to tell you why. They are going to show you. So then I am saying, why Andrew Holness is going down this path? He reduces from 5,000 because maybe he's coming under pressure, right? Reduce from 5,000 to 3,000 and add. The fact of the matter, we are not saying that they cannot be used temporarily, right? So we don't want to be misconstrued here. If they are going to be used,
Byron,
yes.
I wait some money to use them temporary. Having to wait 90 days. Start the program of the restoration. Put on back the roof, them when you put on back. Yeah, because where am I going to do them? Them cannot be permanent. So where am I going to do after?
Exactly.
Where am I going to do them after?
I fully agree with you, because it's going to be a waste of money in terms of what you said. What you said is really constructive, because again, the amount of money that you are going to spend on them, you understand, that temporary money that you are going to spend could have been utilized, you understand, as it relates to the readiness and the quickness, you understand, of getting the NHT program up, you understand, the youth them, you understand, stimulate the economy, right, get the youth them employed. But guess what? If and this is one of the reasons why I know that Andrew Holness is dealing with some corruption, because that program that is now is introducing as it relates to the container program, there is no openness. You understand? There's no clarity there, right? Who will be getting those contracts? You don't know, right? You don't know anything. But again, he will not make any money if the NHT is going to deal with the youths them. You understand? And make the youth them do the you can subdivide it out the work. You understand, to the various contractors, and they build the home. So that money now will be definitely and directly going to them. But obviously, he doesn't want that. He prefer the container program. You understand? And we are now, there's no clarity coming from the container program. This is very serious, and show Jamaicans say Andrew Holness is still dealing with criminality. He doesn't want any checks and balance, period. Now, look, let us look on this now, Melting Pot. Let us get in to gear here. Listen to him. Let me get back, because I do some additional research on this. Right? Now, Andrew Holness need to go. Yes. Andrew Holness need to go. Now, tell me about this. Andrew Holness need to go. You need to go, Andrew Holness. You need to go. You are corrupted. You are corrupted to the core. You need to go.
We have examined pre-built, containerized modular solutions, and we have settled in our minds that this is appropriate for the Jamaican situation that we now have. There are different types, different versions, and so I've met with the NHT, and the NHT has provided us with a solution that they are presently working on. At a later stage, we'll go into more details, but the plan is for, in the initial phase, for the NHT to purchase 5,000 container homes. And those will be, some of them will be for sale. So with a program with the NHT, you will be able to purchase. Some of them will be used to build housing schemes, which you can purchase. And a portion of them will be made available through social housing. The government itself will also be purchasing some of these containerized housing solutions, which will be made available through the social housing modality. So effectively, we have to do a rapid deployment of housing solutions. And the easiest way to do this is to use the containerized solutions. They do take some time to arrive in Jamaica. There's just certainly not the quantity to make an impact. So we have met and discussed it. We have taken the policy decision that these can be used. And so the process of acquiring them through the procurement process, they have been given the approval to move ahead with that. So that should start in short order. You know, we are not going to get them here for Christmas. I just have to be frank with everybody. But we should start to see some coming in by late January. And those that come in initially, we are going to be looking at the worst cases assessed to make them available. For Christmas and for the initial stages, we're going to have to try to do the shelter repair kits, the heavy duty tarpaulins, and those kinds of solutions, in addition to the rebuilding, the actual putting on roofs and so forth, as much of that as we can in the coming weeks leading up to Christmas. But the containerized solution does take some time. The shipping is between 30 to 90 days, just that alone. Then there is some procurement and other administrative and bureaucratic things that might take up the time.
Hold on, Andrew Owner. So let me ask you a question. Where are you planning to get those containers from? Because now you are linking up with the Clintons and the Clintons Foundation. You understand? They have company that build these containers. So are you planning now to maybe ship from China and get it from the Clinton, since you are bringing on the Clinton on the board? Remember, I don't know, I'm just asking question because you are now bringing in, you understand, the Clintons, right, on board. Now, Jamaica, look at this. I am going to show you some hustlings that is taking place here, right? And I am not saying, let me say this categorically clear. I am not saying that this hustling that I'm going to show connected in any way, shape, or form to Andrew Wallace's administration. I want to just show Jamaica that you have persons out there, right, selling them, right, at a particular price. Me just want to share it with my Jamaican people, right? So let me share the information here. But we have a lot of things to speak about after sharing this information. So let me just share this, right? And share it with my people here. Okay. No, not that. Not that. All right, just give me that one kicked off. Okay. All right. Let us just get into the information as it relates to what I'm going to share now, my Jamaican people. Because when you look melting pot, right?
Yeah.
Andrew Owner said it is going to take 90 days, right? For those containers that he's dealing with to get in and for persons to get them, right? But hear what Andrew Owner said, Jamaican people. I want you to pay attention. Andrew Owner said, we have examined these containers and we settled in our mind that they are appropriate. I am asking Andrew Owens, who did you speak with? Did you speak with the relevant authorities? Sit down with them, have a discussion, and they are going to say, okay, all right, let us proceed with containers, considering all the factors. And, going containers is the better or the best option, depending on how many factors provided. Did you do that? You came out, and let me repeat what I said, Andrew Owens. I said, we, who is this we? Who is this we? Have examined, right? And as according to you, you settle in your mind that they are appropriate. Now, what we realize with you, Andrew Owens, that you tend to put the technocrats in the rearview mirror, and you make the decision yourself as if you're a technocrat. You don't spend the time in dealing with the technocrats to understand the variables, to understand the technicalities, but you making the decision yourself as a result of what please you or what you can get corruption from. That is where you're going. Because look at this now, people. And I'm asking Andrew Holness again. Who did you speak to? Here it is. Because I am going to read this now as it relates to, right, the appropriate engineers. So obviously you did not speak with the engineers. You haven't spoken to the technocrats to come with that decision. Right? So when you put that information out there, it is clear in terms of what we are going to read that you did not consult, right, the professional people. You didn't. Now look, rebuild with concrete, not containers. This is a warning from the engineers. Engineering groups urge after Hurricane Melissa. Let us read into it, people. 3 of the leading construction and engineering groups in Jamaica are urging the government to prioritize permanent hurricane resilient housing over temporary container units as the country moves to rebuild following Hurricane Melissa. So let me ask you a question. Who did you speak to, Andrew Holness? Did you speak to these technocrats? Or you have spoken to Hillary Clinton? You have to tell me who did you speak to? Did you speak with the technocrats? Or did you speak to Hillary Clinton? Did you speak to Hillary Clinton? Or did you speak to the technocrats? What we know for sure, you did not speak to the technocrats. So it seems like you have spoken to Hillary Clinton, and now you're bringing on Hillary Clinton Foundation on board. That's what this seems to me. And of course, you know the history of Hillary Clinton. And if you didn't know, you are going to know now. All right. Now, in a joint statement issued Wednesday, the Incorporated Master Builders Association of Jamaica, the Jamaica Institution of Engineers, people can read it over and show you, that these people are the top of top in a Jamaica, and Andrew Holness did not consult them, See, people, in a joint statement issued Wednesday, the Incorporated Master Builders Association of Jamaica, the Jamaica Institution of Engineers, and the Jamaican Institute of Architects called for a national shift, because them switch Andrew Holness and go with him madness and with him corruption, And these people are pleading to Andrew Holness, said, no, don't do that. Because Jamaican, unless Andrew Holness want to kill off a ton load of us, Let me tell you something. Remember, people, this is not the first hurricane Andrew Holness, right, is dealing with, And under Andrew Holness government, right, as it called to the fool woman with their World Bank, Andrew Holness have no preparation for any hurricanes, at no given time, no preparation whatsoever, Why did Mystic Sensation saying that? No drain, no clean, right? No drain as it relates to certain building code, because we are in the hurricane belt. Andrew Holness not do nothing in terms of widening any drain and make them deeper to carry a heavier volume or higher volume of water. He has not done that. Not even garbage in the clean. Many times, people in community is talking about garbage piling up. This is how Andrew Holness angling the country. And so then here it is now evident in terms of what we are showing that Andrew Holness have not spoken to the technocrats. The persons who know it all, who have the know it all, who have the experience, who have the skills, who have the talent. Andrew Holness did not speak with them. Andrew Holness said, we have examined. Who is we that examine these examining that sort of idea that he has as it relates to the feasibility of container homes? And as according to him, right, he is settled in his mind that these container homes are appropriate. Well, my God. So who did you speak with, Andrew Honest? Here is evidence, you know. We have you into a corner now, you know. Tell us, who did you speak with for you to arrive on that decision making? To say, okay, all right, you are going to proceed with container homes over, you know, strong concrete structure, right? Where those container, me no see no sense in it whatsoever, you know, people. Me no see one ear string a sense in what him a do, you know. Because we could argue it now. The container home, they are not feasible. And as you heard the first clip that I played, that United States, right, set a standard in saying that they are not feasible, right, for hurricane proof. They are not. United States said that based on their standards, they are not feasible. So if United States is saying that based on their standard, these container homes are not feasible as it relates to building them or converting them for home. Because remember, people, when you cut into that container, one of the first things you have done right there is to lose the strength. The container itself loses strength from once you cut into it. And you're going to cut out door, you're going to cut out window, you understand? So it loses the firmness. And these engineers, right? Remember now, the Master Builder Association of Jamaica, Master Builder Association of Jamaica, the Jamaica Institution of Engineers, and the Jamaican Institute of Architects called for a national shift, towards stronger construction methods as the foundation of long-term recovery. You hear that for yourself. You hear that for yourself. So then, let me just, right, take away, right, this clip. Let me just stop share this, right? Now, melting pot.
Yes, my brother.
Now, this is this melting pot. The three hierarchies of Jamaica, as it relates to build, the building, the construction of
industry, building and construction industry,
yes, are saying to Andrew Honest that divert from containers and utilize concrete structure, right, for the recovery process, because they approve that structure is much strong and suitable for the situation at hand. And Andrew Honest, before he canceled the program totally, what he prefer to do, he prefer to reduce some numbers from 5,000 to 3,000. So I'm still hell-bent. You understand? That he more involved in some corruption. Because it has to be corruption in terms of, number one, 90 days. They are not going to come in. And you could do the construction as it relates to what the Builders Association of Jamaica is telling you, and you get them within 90 days and less than 90 days. So what say you on this madness, melting pot?
Well, I mean, you know my position on this matter, yeah, already. You know, it's a matter of concern with me. Already have the whole idea of how this thing should have structure. When Andrew Holness seek partnership with the Clinton them, are them three investment China Jamaica I'm supposed to partnership with, Yeah? The Institute of Architects, the Institute of Engineering, and the Masters Builders Association. Him no want no more partnership on that. You understand? And when Andrew talk about we have examined the container houses them as a suitable solution, who is we? Because you never in a no dialogue with them three entity where me just point out. And at them entity, at them are the bureaucrats as it relates to the housing solution crisis. At them in partnership with where my sidestep everybody from Jamaica. No, Andrew will use a word, you know, where me have to hold him on that, you know, Byron.
Yes.
I'm say, you know, rapid solution. But me want to ask Andrew, how you can apply the word rapid solution, yeah, to a housing crisis, yeah, that are going to come on stream at the ending of January 2026. The ending of January, you know, 2026, you know. That can't be a rapid solution. The container houses, them. It can't be a rapid solution. Rapid mean rapid. You understand? Something we move with urgency, that is rapid. You're talking about the ending of January 2026 before it starts roll out. But then you use a narrative like rapid. You know, see, Andrew take the society for lunatic, man. Andrew, you have to go with them behavior, you know. Nobody now buying to them idiotic style of presentation where you come with, because you take everybody for mad people in Jamaica. Well, we are only accountable from across the waters. You understand? And point out your wrongdoing. Because you love to come with some narrative to catch people's attention. Because them not listen keenly down at Jamaica where you say, you know. And the time frame where you have on the table. That can't be rapid. That cannot be rapid. So the solution is to start to the housing damage assessment. How much houses need rooftop to go on, and how much board houses get damaged, where you go build back from scratch. Build them a nice big room with basic amenity like bathroom, toilet, and a little kitchen. Yeah? Give the people them that at the starter and make sure you deck every rooftop. So what you do? You eliminate zinc. Because zinc is something where we can lift up all the while. You eliminate that so you never go back to that as part of your rebuilding process again. So this is one way of cleaning up the zinc out of Jamaica and stop going like you're some little bugaboo idiot or you're prime minister and you're not no health space. Oh, you besides step your people and your workforce in your country when your economy flat and you want to introduce partnership deal with a corrupted entity like the Clinton Foundation. We have 2 strikes for corruption and theft. What kind of partnership you be? It look like a be a criminal you want around you. Because everybody align yourself and associate with it, you know. Them come up with red flag, you know. All of them when me know come up with red flag. Just do the right thing, man, because the money are not your own, you know. And the country no belong to you. You go on like you want to push down things down people throat in Jamaica too much. You know what? Listen to nobody. So you have them reputable firm here in the country, but you not seek advice from them. Who is the Clinton them? We know the Clinton them as part of the CIA empire who once held presidential post in America and first lady at the White House. Me no know them as no building contractor for provide houses. They move away and go into that sector where you say corruption, mashing up Haiti, and mashing up Louisiana State and the back of Hurricane Katrina in the United States of America. So I don't know where you want partnership, you and Babsy Green want partnership with 2 old wizards like yourself. The Clinton, them are all wizard. Trump label them as corrupted people, evil people like yourself. So don't bother try for partnership with evil, you know. I'm feeling no good to come out of that. We are telling us the container house, them not feasible. Yeah? And if the United States people them find it out, evidentially, I show you say them not suitable for hurricane. Them now no resistant to the hurricane them now. Because your government talk about global warming and climate changing and the velocity of these type of thing now and the damage to it across the island. But here is you want go Weaker than him. God that weaker than board house, you know. A proper board house we just build and build on a foundation can probably stand the test of time up a category 5 than them container house where you bring come. Them then I know we are going to our place. I'm ask you what you going to do with them. Because them they can't live in a permanently, you know. And the next category 5 or 3 come, them they blow away. Enough people lose them life. No family are go dead. You understand? No family are go dead, so that you create and that you work towards. Stop the foolishness, man. Stop the foolishness. You must incorporate the workforce in your country from all aspects. A long time Jamaica and build Jamaica. Yeah, we have other construction firm going as far back as Matalan. We have Wisconsin and all them construction firm there. YP Seaton and all them. Put them to work. Put them to work. Plus you have ordinary contractor. You understand? We have them workforce. Get the economy going. Make the people have a Christmas in terms of having some expense around them. You understand? You just have the country just in a little loophole where you just have tighten the grip on it. Release the grip off of the country, man. We will stop talking about them high level corruption and all, you know. Because right now with Jamaica there, you know, you should even not think to even enter into no form of corruption with no corrupted entity. You should not look to use the resource wisely because this resource come with a high austerity measure and inflation measure to the Jamaican people. But instead you want to squeeze it, you want to mill it like a sugar cane and squeeze it, you have to squeeze out of it and let the bag of trash give the people of Jamaica. You need to stop it.
Well, on the melting pot, because we have a cleanup done in aisle 13. Some garbage spilled in aisle 13. You understand? Some of the eavesdrop product spilled over in the aisle 13, and that was a deleted product. So we just cleaned up and put it in the garbage bin. So it's out, it's out of aisle 13 now. All right, so proceed. We just want to make our wonderful listeners know that the eavesdrop product has been deleted. Go ahead, Melting Pot.
Yeah. The next person now when me I look on in Jamaica, this group of people here, NHT. Me want to ask you what I go on with the Andrew Wallace. Because you tasked with the operation in the bill house in Jamaica, you know. Michael Manley good that mandate to NHT to build suitable houses for Jamaican at affordable cost. This entity has grown over the years. Yeah. And sitting on a mountain of wealth. Me I use a big mama say. Sitting on a mountain of capital wealth. I don't know, I do not for the people with the wealth, you know. But Andrew telling them to do with the wealth. Because me soon I itch up and I need Andrew and where Andrew I say and do, you know. Like you know, he's not an independent agent. He's not a government agent, you know. You notice it not name Jamaica National Housing Trust. It name National Housing Trust. So no need to carry out no mandate in the right way and stop these hanky-panky business because when the right time come, they found a big boy up the south, we go get hard it. And they found a go prison. And you can protect you when the right time come, you know. So no clean up on the act and tell him so this plan and objective we have with the container house is a plan that must not come and stream in Jamaica. So I'm saying to National Housing Trust, cease and desist from this corruption plan with Andrew Wallace. And I yield back the floor to you, Byron.
Blessings, my brother. All right. Let me just show one of the projects on display. Right. Let me see that. All right. Let me just go there. Yes, Melting Pot. I mean, look, we have to do what we have to do, you know.
Yeah, man.
And we are going to. Oh, we are not seeing that. Okay, we don't get that. All right, pick off that. All right, so let me just get into this melting pot in terms of, let us share this, giving some of the reasons why container home is a scam, right? As according to professional people, right? All right, listen up, people. Listen up.
Can be built out of almost anything, including shipping containers.
Shipping containers, container house,
Container home, abandoned shipping containers.
shipping containers,
The shipping containers, shipping container homes, and tiny home living.
shipping container,
Shipping containers.
shipping container,
Shipping containers from right here in the River City.
Since the early 2000s, shipping containers have captured the imagination of designers and home builders worldwide. They fit in with the very popular tiny house movement that advocates living simpler and in smaller homes. The corrugated metal exterior of shipping containers gives it a trendy, industrial look. Thousands of shipping containers are discarded every year, so there is a sense of being socially responsible and environmentally conscious when one rescues a shipping container from a junkyard and converts it to a home. Along with this mentality is the idea that you are saving money by using waste material as a starting point for your home construction. Container homes are marketed as an affordable solution to a standard suburban home. These tiny homes are glamorized all over social media and have a huge following. Architects in particular seem to have a fascination with modularity, and shipping containers can seem to be the solution to all the world's problems. I admit I wasn't immune to this as an architecture student. Design competitions will usually have at least one entry with proposals such as this shipping container skyscraper that would solve the housing problems in the slums of Dharavi in Mumbai, India. 2,500 shipping containers would be stacked at various angles to create this tower, and their proposal indicates that the shipping container units would be delivered via drones. Google searches yield hundreds of wild, crazy ideas that use repurposed shipping containers for a variety of commercial and residential buildings. But if this is the magical solution to all problems, why don't you see shipping container homes everywhere? Well, we're going to dive into 7 issues with this type of construction. First off, the most obvious issue is the size constraints. Standard shipping containers are 20 feet and 40 feet long and 8 feet wide. Most of these containers are 8.5 feet tall, but you can custom order ones that are 9.5 feet tall. To make the shipping container livable, you have to insulate it, add mechanical systems, plumbing, electrical systems, sprinklers, and flooring, so you lose up to a foot of the total height and 6 inches off each side, which leaves you with a very tight box. Most people who renovate these shipping containers usually order more expensive custom 9.5 feet tall containers like Benjamin Uyeda did for his home in Joshua Tree, California. Since there is barely any wiggle room in height, Mr. Homemade Modern chose to cut into the metal floor joists for his plumbing work. This brings us to the second issue. A metal shipping container works as a system. The idea that every part of this box is structural is false. Every single cut that you make for plumbing, windows, doors, roof openings into its structural frame or corrugated metal siding compromises its strength, so you have to reinforce it with metal or wood. Also, to add insulation to the inside of the container, you have to frame out your walls with wood, finish the interior with drywall, just like you would on a typical home construction. Tied to this misconception of the structural nature of shipping containers is the idea that it can support cantilevers. Shipping containers are meant to be stacked on top of each other like Lego building blocks. The second you don't stack the containers on corners, you need to reinforce the containers with heavy, expensive steel beams. The 4 corner posts of containers should align with the corner posts of the container above or below it to be the most secure. The rails at the top and the roof of the container are not structural at all. The roof of the container is made of light-cage steel and will dent easily if you step on it. The only structural parts are the corner posts. So all those double-wide container homes that you see on YouTube with an entire sidewall blown out to make more space have had expensive steel reinforcement. At that point, you are using the shipping container just for the corrugated metal aesthetic and nothing else. The third issue with these shipping container homes is the thermal conductivity of steel. It's not a good insulator, so you can expect the inside of these containers to get very hot in summer and very cold in winter. If you insulate the inside of these containers, there will be a big temperature difference where the hot air from the outside meets the cold inside air, or vice versa, which can cause mold and rot inside the home. The logical thing to do is to insulate the outside of these containers and add additional cladding like this couple did, but then you lose the appealing corrugated metal aesthetic. The fourth issue is the health risks that come with buying old shipping containers. You can track down the locations that the container has been to around the world, but you can't track exactly what it has carried. So it could have carried toxic chemicals such as pesticides or fumigants, and the contents could have leaked into the wooden floorboards. For that reason, some states like California only allow single-use containers to be repurposed into homes so that you can track exactly what it has transported. Also, the paint used on these shipping containers is meant to withstand the harsh conditions out in the oceans, so it can contain phosphorus and chromium and other carcinogenic elements. Fifth, this type of building is not the best in all locations. It might make sense in coastal regions near port cities where a shipping container is readily available. But if you are inland, the cost to transport it all the way to your plot of land is not logical. Also, building with native materials is the most eco-friendly and cost-effective method. In the States, wood construction is the cheapest. In other countries, it could be CMU block or clay bricks. Vernacular construction methods make the most sense because they are adapted to the local climate. Shipping container housing could work in places that have material shortages.
Let's just stop this and melting pot. Let us just bite into this a bit. So we have our Builders Association in Jamaica. The three primary entities in Jamaica, right, is definitely explaining that, okay, the containers, right, solution is not the way out to go. Now, go into the research, right? You have seen what the architect, right, are just explaining, right, as it relates to the 7 reasons as to why the container homes definitely a scam. Now, let us bite into that a bit. What she's saying in order to make them becomes really livable, you have to do some additional, you understand, steel reinforcement and certain reinforcement, which is going to be very much expensive, right? And you have to be particularly careful as it relates to how the container ship, depending on what they carry inside of them. But you certain chemical that may be, hazardous to your health. But the bottom line in terms of what she's saying, right? It is not a project, you understand, to say you are going to use it, right, for a home to live in permanently, right? And the idea in terms of saying that the container homes, right, is more affordable, right? Not really. Because the adjustment that you have to do with them, right, is going to be very expensive. So then the question that I'm asking, if Andrew Holness had done all the research, right, and know all of this, why is he pursuing to go into container homes? When you look at all the variables, right? When you look on all the negatives plus the positive, you find that the negatives are outweighing the positive. And what it seems to me that under no circumstances given, right, that a container choice, right, for homing, for housing a commodity, you understand, would be the right thing to do, right? So you are seeing that every examples, right, is saying that it is a wrong methodology, right? And I mean, NHT is right here, right? We have cement, we have stone. You understand? Of course, we
We
don't
have
have
sun.
we have sun. We don't create steel here, but we can get them in. You understand? So tell me, it's a quicker solution. Quicker solution. Then why Andrew Wallace is not using the solution? I can't see no other reason more than corruption. Right? No other reason whatsoever more than corruption. But hold on the melting pot. Let me show you something else. With this, look at this. Look at this hustling. Okay, apparently I took that off. Right, let me cancel this. Apparently I took that off melting pot mistakenly. So as I'm saying, melting pot, right?
Yeah.
Under no circumstances, right, that container home, right, is the way to go. Then why the government is pursuing this? What is your input on that?
Well, my input on this whole thing is that there's too much mitigating circumstances surrounding these container houses, as it relates to even chemical where them transport over the time they've been used at sea. Even the paint, we paint them, is a different type of paint that, applies to housing, So we know, based on even to transport them from sea to land, it's a cost effect that again. So the circumstance, when you add them up together, it's no factor the feasibility, where that is concerned in regard to building a concrete house for a person or repairing them house. You understand? So this must be just purely corruption why Andrew Wallace want to go down this road. I will know Andrew Wallace and the National Housing Trust has become buddies in recent time. And this is why Housing Trust want to back Andrew Wallace rather than telling Andrew Wallace, say, well then look, Housing Trust cannot participate in this type of housing solution because Housing Trust was entrusted with a mandate to build solid house, the Jamaican. See, and the capital is there. Remember, Andrew had take over $10.8 billion a year, So the capital is there. I'm selling they are sitting on a mountain of cash. So Housing Trust to stop play this little chicken game with Andrew Wallace and come real and get real. Get real to the idea of why Housing Trust was formed by Michael Manley and why it was entrusted with the mandate to solve the housing problem in Jamaica for poor people. Poor people not be living in a container because Andrew and him big boyfriend them not living in a container house. All when it gone 5-story high, them not living in that. So anything when no good for the goose can't good for the gander.
Exactly.
So Andrew Wallace can't come tell we nothing about no container house where we want to go in a partnership with criminal Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton. Yeah? And who else him have around him? I push this idea from Housing Trust. We have to start take a close look in our Housing Trust now. We have to do some research on who are run up there so and do some scoping on him or she because something is suspicious with Housing Trust and Andrew Wallace led government. Too much partnership deal, hanky panky. Remember, next team get 650 million from Housing Trust, and we don't know where that gone. Because I'm not delivering a house. And the house them when that try to build can't sell to Housing Trust recipient, applicant them. Them can't be no recipient of them house, them too expensive. So we used to say them a play some little shadow game with Housing Trust money, So we have to check out them boy or them mistress that we are run up our Housing Trust. Them too close to the government. Very close to the government. Yeah? So we just make Andrew Wallace know, say, look, it's not too late to abandon this diabolic idea of container houses. Yeah? Do not pursue along this line. Because it's not you who going to get hurt or have the burden to bear. It's not any of your family them that going to get hurt or have that burden to bear. It's the common people. And if you say you promise prosperity to Jamaican, then container housing cannot be one of that prosperity. Because container houses is not no housing for nobody living in. You hear how much sickness people derive from living in them. Them carry mold. Because the insulation won't do up on the inside. But the scientists tell us say if you insulate it for it function properly, you'd have to put it on the outside and then you're going to lose the steel facial of the container. So you have to put something over the insulation again. So it's not feasible. Let me even tell you, say, the container flooring, based on what container are used to transport, could have absorbed a lot of chemical over a period of time. So Andrew Wallace, there are too many mitigating circumstances and you have not done your research properly. Because you done that, you'd have abandoned this idea a long time. So we know you don't do no feasibility study into this container housing solution. Yeah. We know it's a mad head Russian corruption, embarkment to the pan. And you have to stop them type of practice here, Andrew. Andrew, it's time you put on this nasty habit of chopping the country money. You need to banish that idea out of your big ticket where you have. Understand, say, Jamaican need better leadership. So if you cannot, and well, we know you're not Prime Minister material. We are telling you a long time. When you just pass the baton to somebody, man, relieve yourself of the high level of scrutiny where you're under, man. You have enough money now, until we retrieve back a portion of it as it relates to your illicit enrichment. But go and enjoy some of it for the time being, man. And over the button to somebody else. You cannot manage the country. The country has eluded you now. Yeah? Because the country wants a more stronger, rigid leadership in terms of principle. Not rigid in terms of corruption and dictatorship. The country wants a steady-head individual. The country wants a leader where can go in bed and sleep comfortable when night come and half you think about the high level of corruption we are weigh him down. The country wants a new breath of fresh air. You can't breathe no more oxygen from Jamaica, Because every oxygen to come out of your body is corruption. And Jamaica staying in that. Yeah? That toxic in our country. So we have to do the right thing, man. Just relinquish the post, man. Relinquish the post. It's better for you in the long run. Because here is one more crime where you want to commit. And we are telling you, do not attempt it. Because the eyes are on you, Andrew Wallace. You will not succeed in this venture. You will fail and feel miserable. And hand back the floor to the host, Lord Byron.
All right, blessings. I have Urel, right, asking about the cost of the container homes, right? Let me find something for you, Urel, right, and break it down and make sure that we get it from mainstream media, because our things stay around here. Urel, we don't deal with heresies. So let me just get you that information and we break them down, right? Because I know you want to understand the contrast between container homes and building concrete structure. And you're going to see, let me just bring up this information for you, Rural, where that is concerned. Let me just bring up this information for you. All right. Let me just copy that. All right, and just bring this information for our peeps to see it, so they have an understanding of container homes. Okay, so that is loading, right? So you can definitely, as soon as it finish load, Rural, I am going to give you the cost. Yes, melting pot. But even the cost for the container homes, right, starting at roughly about say 2 million Jamaican dollars, right? That home, that $2 million can start you know, a good concrete structure. Right?
Definitely.
All right. I'm still waiting on that to load to those give it to you. $2 million, right? Can start. The document that I'm loading, it give you some breakdown. Okay, all right. Finish load now. So let me just go get to it right away. And we bite into that since it finished load. All right. Container homes for sale. Okay, let me just share that document. Right. Let me just X this. All right. Here it is. Now, container homes for sale. Right. And this is, notice the date, gentlemen and ladies. Notice the date, April 2023. So this price listing, right, has nothing to do with 2025 unless they remain at the same price. So this is 2023 price listing. All right, let us get into it. Now, Kingston Logistics Center has demonstrated yet another innovative way it used shipping containers with the introduction of prefabricated container homes, which are now available for sale. Right? On Wednesday, the company launched its upcycled container homes at Newport West in Kingston with model home and shore. The Jamaica Observer toured the newly constructed two-bedroom model home, right? Dubbed the Madonna, value at 8.5 million. But nothing, don't laugh yet. No, this is no. You see the reason as to why Andrew Holness want to go in the container thing. You see the reason why Andrew Holness want to go in the container thing, because watch this now. The Newport West in Kingston with a model home and shore. The Jamaica Observer toured the newly constructed two-bedroom model home dubbed the Madonna, value at 8.5 million. You are going to tell me that at $8.5 million can give you a two-bedroom solid construction home in Jamaica? Less than that can give you that. No,
your 4-bedroom.
Yeah, the Madonna consists of a combination of two shipping containers, a 20-foot and a 40 I cube container, and is designed with a roof, front porch, kitchen, living space, and bathroom with a coverage area of 480 square feet. Though the space is small, they are just enough house to make it a home, and is pitched as the perfect starter home for middle income earners. You hear that? You watch this now, people. KLC currently offers 6 types of homes from 1-bedroom to 3-bedroom with price tags ranging between $2.5 million to $12.5 million. Marketing and business development manager at KLC, Rad Forbes, explained to the Caribbean Report that they are determining the cost based on the market. So it's based on the market, you know, this is 2023. Make note of that, people. 2023. So this is what we are saying, that, you know, and again, to make them, you know, that sort of, you know, livable, then, I mean, it's just crazy. So it's a money-grabbing situation, right? And trust me, if you go, that's why you find it, he doesn't want to go the NHT route. Because if he goes the NHT route, he's not going to make any money. You understand? So he want to go to a route which him string that off to one and friend them. You understand? And might be when you look, you understand, them have shares in the company, because you know so that them are deal with money now. You understand?
Yes.
Shares in the company and hide themselves. You understand them going as, you understand, silent partners. You understand them name cannot be listed and so forth, because they are silent partners and them hide these things. So that's why Andrew Holness wants to do this. You understand? Now, make a juggle right now. All right, watch this now, people. Here where we are going. Where we are going right now there's a very serious situation unfolding. And 3 days ago, some serious decision had taken in the United States as it relates to Donald Trump and Venezuela. Jamaica, the thing is getting really serious, and Donald Trump, right, is now seems to be putting under surveillance as it relates to more people coming out asking for the evidence, right? And they are saying now, most of them are saying now that it seems that, right, he concocted all of this. Now let us get into that. Now it is getting even more serious that you have 500, listen people, 500 of his generals walk out, leave him. This happened 2 days ago, 500 of his generals, to show you that this is serious, because they do not agree with him. When you have 500 generals, just lay down them arms and leave you. It is very serious. Now, let us bite into that, my Jamaican people. Look at this, and I want you to listen. Now, watch this. All right, let us first bite into this. All right. Where this former IMF person is also talking and saying the predicament in terms of what the United States is in. Listen up, people.
Politics. You can be an empire, or you can be a debtor, but you cannot be both. For 80 years, the United States defied this rule. They printed the money, and the world accepted it. They sanctioned their enemies, and the world obeyed. They were the masters of the universe, but this week, the master had to go begging. In Caracas, the United States is doing the unthinkable. After years of trying to destroy Nicolas Maduro, after seizing his planes, freezing his accounts, and putting a $15 million bounty on his head, Washington is suddenly desperate to make a deal. Why? Because the petrodollar is dying, and they need Venezuela's oil to save it. And in Washington, the new Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, is facing a nightmare. He needs to borrow $3 trillion this year just to keep the lights on, but his usual customers aren't buying. So he is forced to look across the ocean to the very country the US calls its greatest enemy, China. Do you see the irony? The United States is currently waging an economic war against the two countries that it needs the most. I worked at the IMF for many years. I have seen this pattern before. When a superpower starts begging its enemies for resources, it is not a 4D chess move. It is a liquidation sale. Today, we are going to look at the two desperate deals happening behind closed doors: the oil deal in Venezuela and the debt deal with China. Because if either of these deals fails, the American economy does not just recession, it stops. Let us start with the humiliation in Caracas. If you want to understand how weak the American empire has become, you do not need to look at the GDP numbers. You just need to look at who they are shaking hands with. 5 years ago, the United States declared that Nicolas Maduro was not the president of Venezuela. They recognized a man named Juan Guaido. They froze Venezuela's bank accounts. They seized their airplanes. They even put a $15 million bounty on Maduro's head like he was a cowboy outlaw in a Western movie. The goal was simple: collapse the Venezuelan economy, force a regime change, and take control of the world's largest oil reserves. So, what happened? Maduro is still there, but the American oil strategy is dead. You see, the United States made a catastrophic miscalculation. They assumed that if they sanctioned Venezuelan oil, the world would stop buying it. But the world is hungry. China continued to buy. India continued to buy. And here is the detail that keeps the US Treasury awake at night. They did not pay in dollars. Venezuela became the first laboratory for a post-dollar oil market. They started selling their oil for Chinese yuan and increasingly for USDT crypto. By sanctioning them, the US forced Venezuela to build a financial immune system. They proved to the world that you can sell oil without Washington's permission. And now the tables have turned. While the US has plenty of oil in Texas, it is the wrong kind of oil. It is light sweet crude. But the massive American refineries in the Gulf Coast, they were built 50 years ago to process heavy sour crude. Without that heavy oil, the refineries choke. They cannot produce enough diesel. And if diesel runs out, the American supply chain stops. So we see the unthinkable. American diplomats are quietly going back to Caracas. They are issuing waivers to companies like Chevron to pump oil in Venezuela again. They are offering debt relief. They are essentially begging the man they tried to overthrow to please turn the pumps back on. This is not diplomacy. This is surrender. It proves that when push comes to shove, the United States needs the Global South's resources more than the Global South needs the United States' permission. But if the situation in Venezuela is embarrassing, the situation in Washington is absolutely terrifying. While the diplomats are begging for oil, the Treasury is begging for cash. This is where the new Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, finds himself in a trap.
All right.
The American public
Just want people to get the basis of that, right? Now, people, I want you to watch this now, right? Because this is very, very serious. Look where we're going next, which is very, very serious, right? Coming after deals with Donald Trump. 500. Look at this, people. This is crazy. What is going on right now? This is crazy. Let us get in that. Let us get into that quick. Look at these people.
Mark Hertling. Allie, what are you hearing from lawmakers in reaction to this latest reporting about Hegseth?
Well, the condemnation is not bipartisan, at least not yet, but the concern certainly is. And I think that's a rarity in this Washington, where you've seen Republicans especially really fall in line with the White House. So even as you have the president out there defending the head of the Pentagon, you also have members of Congress in bipartisan fashion saying not only are they concerned, but they want to investigate and they want to learn more. Listen to just a few of the lawmakers as they took to the Sunday shows this weekend, Anna.
What we're doing down there does not adhere to any law that we've had. But what Trump and Hegseth are saying is, law doesn't apply to us. We can do whatever we want.
Obviously, if that occurred, that would be very serious, and I agree that would be an illegal act.
If what has been reported is accurate, I've got serious concerns about anybody in that chain of command stepping over a line that they should never step over, going after survivors in the water. That is clearly not lawful.
And I think what's important here, Anna, is the concern is renewed, certainly, in light of the Washington Post reporting that you detailed at the beginning of the segment. But there was already concern on Capitol Hill about the way that the administration was going about these strikes writ large. The idea that during the times that they actually had been briefed by the administration, members felt like they didn't get to meet with lawyers or hear the legal underpinnings that the administration was using to justify these strikes in the first place. So not only are there questions about if they should be doing these strikes, but now on top of it, this idea of a potential double tap, which of course runs afoul of the Geneva Convention and other things.
General, it has been days since this Washington Post report came out. President Trump says he'll get to the truth. How hard should it be to find out what happened?
It should not be hard at all, Anna. There's a film of the original strike. There has to be a film of the secondary strike because you always have those kind of cameras and painting with lasers for any time a bomb hits. And it's simply important to not only get Secretary Hegseth to testify before Congress, but also various other people, the individuals that were part of the Special Operations Command that were involved in this incident, the trigger pullers, Admiral Halsey, who, as you know, put in his retirement paper after disagreements with the administration, his lawyer, who was evidently, by reports, pushed to the side by the civilian lawyers within DOD. These would all be individuals who could testify as to what happened. And truthfully, as Allie just said, this situation is so grave, not because it's partisan politics, but because it suggests senior civilian leaders may have urged action that violated the law of armed conflict, basic proportionality, and a longstanding commitment from the United States to minimize harm to defenseless civilians. And most importantly, from my perspective, it places service members who must refuse illegal or unlawful orders in an impossible position because they're caught between their legal obligation, their moral conscience, which hasn't been discussed all that much, and the pressure of civilian authority.
Secretary Hegseth does say that all the current operations in the Caribbean are lawful under both U.S. and international law and have been approved by the best military and civilian lawyers. General, what are the laws governing strikes like this?
Well, you know, when you're talking about striking against someone who's wounded and clinging to debris, that's an individual that's termed, there's a formal term for it, it's called hors de combat. It's out, he or she is outside the fight, protected under the Geneva Convention.
2 men were blown apart in the water. MS Now has not independently verified the report by the Washington Post. President Trump put out this video of the attack later that day, but it did not show any footage of a subsequent strike. Now, Republican-led committees in both chambers of Congress are pushing back, and the top Republican and Democrat on the Senate Armed Services Committee, Republican Roger Wicker of Mississippi and Democrat Jack Reed of Rhode Island said, quote, "We will be conducting vigorous oversight to determine the facts related to these circumstances." And the House Armed Services Committee echoed that vow, saying it is, quote, "committed to providing rigorous oversight and are taking bipartisan action to gather a full accounting of the operation in question." On Capitol Hill, Republicans and Democrats alike are calling the allegations serious, illegal.
Let's just stop here. Again, Republicans and Democrats alike. And it's not backbench Republicans. It's not Thomas Massey. It is Chairman Roger Wicker, the chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee.
All
You
right.
have the chairman.
All right, let us know. This is a lot to bite into. This is a lot to bite into here. So let me just give melting pot. This is serious. And here the reason, before I make your comment, melting pot, here the reason why this is serious. Again, to the fact that you have a bipartisan approach now advancing both Democrat and Republican. So it's not only Democrat, both Republican and Democrat are now saying that it appears as if Donald Trump breached the Geneva Conventional law. This now is war crime based on the Geneva Conference law. When you wounded someone on the battlefield, right, and the person is totally, right, wounded, right, you must not proceed in terms of, further, right, arming the person. Now, in the instances, in terms of where the United States, where Donald Trump administration fired on the boat, and men, right, came off into the water, dropped off in the water, and they fired a second time, right, to kill those people in the water. That's a war crime. Geneva Conventional law is saying that's a war crime. Now, what happened? You have also 500 generals walking away. Simply mean they are saying to themselves that what Donald Trump had done, the administration, they don't want nothing to do with it. They are washing their hands from it. Right? They are saying that, listen, we don't want to be in this mess. This really look bad. Now, what makes this really serious as it relates to Jamaica? The geopolitics that Andrew Holness caught up in. Not only as it relates to when Andrew Holness claimed that the policemen find X amount of drugs on the Caribbean, you understand, in the Caribbean waters, right, and want to imply that Donald Trump, you understand, seems to be right in terms of what, right, Donald Trump is saying that he's pursuing them because of drugs. They are saying that, no, it has nothing to do with drugs. No drugs at all. It has to do with oil. So how does this look, even also on Andrew Holness, siding with Donald Trump with this when United States, you understand, as it relates to bipartisan approach, you understand, the Republican and the Democrat, you understand, is finding this very serious. 500 generals bailing out on Donald Trump. What say you on the matter?
Well, the whole uprising surrounding what is happening in the Caribbean Sea, yeah, outside of Venezuela, stem from the September 2 killing. And we all know the September 2 killing opened a new Pandora box, yeah, as it relates to a second strike, which, you know, if verified, definitely constitute a war crime. As we all know, it's within the law of the Geneva Conference. So the Trump administration is under increasing pressure now. But as it relates to Pete Hegseth, the man, you know, who is the Secretary of State, yeah, in regard to defense, and Admiral Bartlett, yeah, those two have a lot to answer to, you know. Because, I mean, the order must come from the upper echelon, yeah. But here is Admiral Bartlett saying that Admiral Bradley, saying that Hegseth did not give him a command to strike a second time. So who give the command? Because it can't be Admiral Bradley, you know. Him couldn't take matters in him hand.
No.
So I think Bradley a cover up for somebody from the upper echelon. And this is why so much of the, you know, the Admiral them leave now. Because they realize that this thing are well corrupted. Call man I tell life a man up there, so I protect man up there so above them. So some people know are defunct from the whole, you know, corruption saga. Because I mean, we know it's an intimidatory, you know, mission Trump carry out as it relates to what was going on. To send a message to Venezuela and its president, Nicolas Maduro. Because we know it must be something beyond drugs, you know. Because one of the biggest kingpin, as we were told, who have over 400,000 tons of cocaine, got 45 years, was given a pardon.
By Trump?
So it can't be drugs.
Can't
you
be
understand?
Can't be
And if it's drugs is the true cause of the mission, then Jamaica supposed to come under pressure to, because Trump himself labeled Jamaica as the top transshipment hub, you know, with the cocaine trade, you know.
Exactly.
And that is less than a year.
Exactly.
That is less than a year. That was just before him send down the guy there come talk to Andrew and Tough Tongue. You understand? Rubio. You understand? So we see the type of politics that Trump are playing at the region, you know. Because Donald Trump have this thing about him that anything him want him supposed to get. I don't know him derive that mentality from. But we know it's a guy where him shady. You understand? You just have to look for who him implicate with in the past. You know him shady.
Yes.
You understand? So when you have our Prime Minister, so-called Prime Minister, because I go just bracket him in regards to the international relationship side of thing. You understand? Align himself now among some top man, but the two top man are enemy of themselves and them own state, you know. Because none of them no good for them country who Andrew align himself to, you know. The guy where run China, I'm not good for China either. It was because of the dictatorship, the people them down there demonstrate so much in recent time. You understand? The same thing happening in America. So it shows that the leader them not good, but them have stronghold on them country. Now I think Jamaica, leader in charge, supposed to distance himself from these type of people, you know, and operate like a mere Matley. operate independently by your own views and ideology. But Andrew not have not like that. Where Andrew have is bad for Jamaica, you know. When you have a guy with a one subject and the subject entail political science, you know him is a trickery. You know what that type of practice them a complain. Yeah, when try to mastermind and create some new way of governance. Because political science alone him have. The guy now have not like economics and management skill and all them thing there, you know. Him now have no doctor accreditation, you know. Yeah, the one where him have, you know, a false thing that. You understand? So Andrew wants to bring nothing to the table in terms of, you know, brains for run a country. Political science, a be a trick and lie and corruption and propaganda that spell out for me, man. And you see that him carry out. Why you don't want to put yourself amongst these people when them two people here are going to bring you and your country into disrepute? Because here it is now, you know. America, in a Donald Trump first presidential term, yeah, him get Andrew Holness, you know, they go against Venezuela and Jamaica lose a lucrative oil deal. But then the same man will tell you to go against Venezuela, him gone back and go and get him oil. While you have your associates from elsewhere. You understand? And then now, it come back again, the same gameplay again, and the said man ask you now to vote in favor of him with him corruption where I go out in the region. I would say Andrew get the JDF man them to say them find cocaine on the coast of Jamaica water. Lie. Because you see Andrew Holness, him a play all type of dirty game with Donald Trump. And it going backfire upon Andrew Holness and Jamaica in the long run. Because if you live over a place where a glass house, you know, if you throw no stone, you know. Because when the stone start come back over your place and damage and go on over there. And that to see Andrew Holness put himself in a them type of pickle. So we know about that, yeah? But here it is now, right? Them say the strike in the region, yeah, that's supposed to go against individual. You understand? If it go against individual outside of cocaine, that killing is a collateral damage. You understand? Because you destroy everything. So whereas people come off of the vessel, yeah, you're supposed to leave them, make them go to safety.
Yeah.
You cannot strike them that is classified as collateral damage to the whole scenery. Operation is war crime.
Yeah.
So this guy Trump under pressure. Well, we are hearing an earlier excerpt where you place them about now because them want the oil from Venezuela.
Yes.
People start make backdoor deal now and strike deal. Because once you see
Melting pot, hold on. All right. For geopolitics, how does this look on Donald Trump to the fact that Donald Trump lead out a portion of his army surrounding Venezuela, right? Seems like they're having training to prepare for war. But behind the curtains, he's begging, he's pleading. How does this look on the political, front? How does it look on the political optics for Donald Trump, right? Based on what we have heard, he's begging behind closed doors.
When we see Donald Trump come out and flex his muscle, yeah, in a way where he want to intimidate the Venezuelan guy, Nicolas Maduro, because him the other man, report was that he was on a flight to Brazil, but subsequent video show him, yeah, a conduct a press conference, yeah, and we are subsequently now learning of the fact that there's a partisan, coming together between the Democrats and the Republicans. in support of, them standing up against human rights and the corruption carried out by Donald Trump. But remember, Donald Trump sent some of the newest ship them, and the biggest ship them where him having in fleet, So it was an intimidation thing now to kind of host this guy out of the hot seat. You understand? So I see it was like a mini coup to get him out and get the guy with them in support of.
All right. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Let me help you with something. All right. Let us dismiss, right, that sort of argument to say that, okay, all right, Trump is, begging behind closed doors, right? Now, let us speak in essence that, okay, all right, Trump want to push a fight with Venezuela and might be cause Russia, right, to either want to assist Venezuela, and if Russia assists Venezuela, you're going to have China, right, assisting as well based on the alliance. Now, look at this. I am looking on something here, right, on the, the war game. Let me show you something, Melting Pot, that I am not seeing a win. Let me say this to the world. And, I beg for someone to come and say, well, all right, Mystic, you're wrong, based on the way you're looking on it. If you should have a World War III erupt, right, out of the Caribbean as a result of what is going on with the United States and Venezuela, right? I am putting to you, Melting Pot, that I don't see any way that the United States is going to win this war. And let me show you why. I am going to show you something, what I am looking on, right, as it relates to nuclear armament. And I don't see, right, where United States, France, Australia, England, Canada put together, right, is going to win the BRICS. You understand? And the BRICS, right, you talk about Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Let me show you something now in terms of matching up force for force. Look at this. I don't see any way they can win. Now, look at what I'm going to show. And this is serious. Look at this. I'm going to show the top nuclear armed countries. What is Melting Pot? Russia, as it relates to nuclear weapon, has 4,380. Right? Melting Pot.
Yeah.
Use a calculator, right? Type down that 4,380. Right? We are only doing the BRICS matching up. You understand? To the United States. Only the BRICS we are going to do. Now,
they have 4,380. Yeah.
All right. China, 500.
500 for China.
India, 172. We definitely know that North Korea would more in line to support Russia and China.
So that, you done this up? You finished this up?
Yeah, with North Korea. Yeah, North Korea is not a part of the BRICS, you know. But North Korea
have. No, you're not going to get North Korea alongside South Korea.
Exactly.
Them that two enemies. So leave North Korea out of it.
Okay, so let us leave. All right, let us leave North Korea out of it because they are not a part of the BRICS. Now let us talk about United States. United States.
So hold on. You want me to total up this for the BRICS then?
Yes, total that for the BRICS.
That are 5,052.
Okay,
BRICS,
all right.
Nuclear armory.
United States 3,708.
3,708, yeah.
France 290.
290.
United Kingdom 225.
225.
Israel is going to defend United States no matter what. Put 90 there.
90.
How much you have?
All right. 3,313. 3,330.
For what?
Eh? For all of them combined.
No, you can't have that
No,
because
no,
United,
no, 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 hold on. We're
you
wrong.
can't have that.
4,330.
Okay.
4,330. The
4,000.
US at 3,708
Yes,
or like that.
so you couldn't have that.
Yeah, we leave off one. 4,330. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and what's the bricks of?
The bricks have 5,052.
5,052.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now let me stop share that.
So you're not drop Germany in it.
Me not drop Germany in it because Germany more likely is going to be independent.
No, them have to come. If UK come, them have to go come.
But
Them a
Germany,
part of them a
see,
part of NATO, you know. Them a part of NATO,
right.
them with France.
But
Them would back out.
But what I'm melting pot, I don't see Germany as it relates to any nuclear weapons that they have, as it relates to, you understand? I don't see that because there's no, as it relates to Germany. Germany did destroy their nuclear, you know.
Yeah, but you can't just banish them. Have none. Them are some secret people, you know.
No, but we can't have a quantity.
We're not gonna speculate still, but we know them.
Exactly. We can't have a quantity that we don't know.
No. Yeah, but them not list, so we're not gonna use it. But then again, you know, the numbers not too widely disparities, you know. That's where we have, you know. Back. All right. Now totally different.
Take away and let us see the variance.
739.
Well, how does it look in terms of, and that is one of the reasons why I could talk to the people then. When it comes to any form of issue arises with Russia, China, right, as it relates to America, they would have to try to deal with it diplomatically, not militarily. Because watch this, United States will be considering these factors. Russia will be considering these factors. China will be considering these factors. It's a dangerous situation. You understand, to have World War III. So then, that is why United States can't really bully China, can't really bully India, right? And so then the EU would more inclined to bully the small countries.
Well, that's them practice over the years, you know. But, you know, I don't think we'll ever live to see a World War III. And I don't think a World War III will ever come on stream.
Exactly, because
simply because a world investment right now. Too much at stake. And like back in them days when the world never developed, you know. The whole of them are protect them asset, you know. Yeah. So them just have it now as, you know, deterrent factor for, you know, intimidate them one another. But them now go on stream with that. Yeah, I might take it now if a war broke out in the region. I don't think Russia would have come. Because that would have weakened them contingency with them have right now against Ukraine. I remember them have to show up for themselves with people from Africa and India and all about, you know, Korea and all them things there. So them wouldn't come and join it in the Caribbean. But a bluff we know chuff a bluff. Because the island want here, him just intimidate Maduro. Yeah, him not going nothing. God Trump can't go on that nine backyard. I'm going to mash up the Americans. And the head of America, you can't destroy Americans. You know, that wouldn't sit well around the table amongst the big wigs them. In a government official. Them they have whole heap of ramification. So we know him just a flexing muscle. Yeah? But what them do now, them overstep the bound. Yeah, in terms of how them carry out the intimidation in the region. Yeah, because the striking at the vessel level, you know, constitute war crime. Yeah? Because them have the mechanism to run them boat till them run out of island, capture who fi capture and seize where they pan it and show to the world. But the fact of the matter is them don't do none of that. Yeah? Them don't carry out that exercise. What them do is just destroy. Them just destroy you using air missile. You understand? And that now is very, very serious. You understand? Because that's where the humanitarian side of things comes in, you know. This is why Geneva now have to step in. And I look into the matters now as it presents itself. And this is why you see the 500 men them walk away. But I know this guy, Admiral Bradley, I protect the guy, pretext, you know. Yeah. Something between the line there. Yeah, because, I mean, nobody don't implicate it to Trump, say Trump to the other. So, them a make it look like a for them, you know, order out at sea, but not coming from the White House to the operation where them go on with. But me no say, I don't think it's Admiral Bradley decision. I think it's Pete exit decision. And Admiral Bradley carry out instruction, and some of the other rest of Admiral them, you know, them not like what go on. Yeah, maybe Bradley look a stripe further up the ladder. You understand? So the next man them now walk out on the mission. Yeah, citing it as, you know, gross negligence towards humanitarians. So a big problem that. But then we hear now people are going now backdoor deal assigned for oil. Because we already know so Venezuela have the largest oil reserve in the world. Get them sit down upon vast amount of oil, not even the Middle East of the oil where Venezuela have.
And the type.
Them. All right, yeah. So we know America want to be a part of that because it's nearer to him. You understand? And that would assure up him economy because America have run off of that. I remember so when the other is a country them, yeah, we have the resource. Them America, like Russia have oil, yeah. America and Russia now in an oil trade partnership. Because them they drop sanction for Russia and ask other country not to buy Russia oil. India buy oil from Russia. Yeah. India buy oil from Russia. So India help to fuel Russia economy to sustain the war in Ukraine. So we know India is on Russia's side. We know China is on Russia's side. And we know South Korea is on Russia's side. And maybe a few African countries that join Russia's side, we don't know. We just throw that one out there. You understand? Because Russia heavily involved in Africa, you know. Yeah, man. Russia heavily involved in Africa. Russia like import all Africans come, you know, impregnate the woman them down there. Because a whole man dead in Russia through the war, you know. Plus the population is that age already. And Russia like to have boots on the ground.
Yes.
So there's a certain type of, you know, relationship we develop between Russia and the African country them.
Yeah,
but this geopolitics war, you know, yeah, it's not good for the region at all. Yeah. The Caribbean region is a place where you know, carry a high amount of safety in terms of, you know, warp and we see we don't have them thing there. Yeah, when we see warship in our water, you know, cause concern. Because I mean, all the countries them are neighbors. You understand? So, and I mean, if America are the big man around here, so I'm supposed to protect the small countries them. Yeah? And why would America want to go to war now? When next year is a World Cup in the region? Me not see it feasible. I don't see the feasibility with America trying to create a war at the moment. Then suppose the war not done. How you host the World Cup in the region? I remember everything set in stone already. It can't move gonna away. All the stadium them built using a lot of money and all type of things. So it's a whole heap of money. Would have put up the drain if war broke out right now.
Again, Melting Pot, in terms of moving all that military might in the Caribbean, particularly in the area of Venezuela, that's a lot of money, you know.
Yeah.
Like in terms of fuel and all sort of things.
Yeah, but watch this now, Byron.
Yes.
Watch this now. Remember the other day, China and them boy down so and Russia and them parade, you know, and show them thing. So Donald Trump parade too and show him thing too. I think so.
Where's it?
That's why the man. That's why the man bring out the. Yeah, that's why the man bring out the newest thing. Them.
Yeah, a parade, my parade. So definitely okay. All right. Well, I mean, if him the behind curtain, right? The big Venezuela boss, you understand? For deal diplomatically. Well, you know, we prefer to have that mood and have the war, right?
Exactly.
We prefer to have that mood and have the war. So
yeah.
You know, all right. But we touch that and touching on some serious things that is happening in Jamaica now as it relates to leptospirosis. Now, this is very serious as it relates to, right? And this goes to Andrew Owen's response, even up until now. Because while we are talking about you know, relief of aid and all of that, there's another problem that is brewing, that is very serious, and that is actually killing our people, right? Is the health crisis. So let us just dive into that a bit here, my people, and take a bite out of that. Now, let us look at this. So let me drop this and share this. Here it is, right? And this is December 4. What, today is what? December 5th? So this is what? Yesterday, melting pot, or the day before yesterday?
Probably, yes. Today, I think today at the 5th. Yeah.
Yeah, so it is yesterday.
The 3rd. Yeah, yesterday.
So this is yesterday. Health Ministry report more leptospirosis cases and deaths. Wow. Interesting. The Ministry of
cases
Health
and deaths.
Huh?
Cases and deaths.
Cases and deaths, yeah. Health Ministry report more leptospirosis cases and deaths. The Ministry of Health and Wellness is reporting that Jamaica has recorded more cases and deaths of leptospirosis in the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa. And remember, in a melting pot, we haven't heard anything about cholera as yet, you know. No. In a release today, the ministry says the country has recorded 71 suspected, probable, confirmed cases, of which 26 are confirmed cases. You hear that, melting pot? Further,
yeah, man.
The Health Ministry says 12 people have died, of which 7 were confirmed as leptospirosis related. It says it is continuing its management of the disease across the island and is giving special attention to St. James, St. Anne, and St. Elizabeth as they have the highest number of suspected, probable, confirmed cases. St. James has 15 cases, St. Anne has 12, and there have been 8 cases in St. Elizabeth. The Health Ministry is reminding the public that leptospirosis is preventable, treatable, and survivable if detected early and taken seriously. It is advising persons to wear protective gear during cleanup, avoid flood water, secure food and water supplies, and keep their environment clean. Having to speak about keeping environment clean, let us look at this and show the risk factor as it relates to leptospirosis, because this is serious in terms of when we look on this situation, this particular behavior, right? It is really threatening, right? It is really threatening. So let us get into that. Look at this melting pot, right? As it relates to, right, source to leptospirosis and cholera, right? Look at this behavior. This is in Montego Bay. All right. So when we look at behavior like that, melting pot, we know that as it relates to a category 5 with a wind speed, pressure of 185 miles per hour. A lot of underground sewage line would have been ruptured.
Definitely.
And right in terms of what we are seeing here, right? People are buckling up the water. People are drinking the water. People are bathing. People are using the water to wash clothing. And remember, as it relates to the vulnerability of that, as it relates to that system being exposed, right, to leptospirosis, cholera. So when we see all of these, right, situations, right, then it has cause to concern. Now,
definitely,
let me show you as it relates to management when we talk about leadership in all of this crisis, because Christopher Tufton don't get it yet. But here you have the People's National Party, Dr. Dawes, actually was far way proactive even prior to Hurricane Melissa. Just look at how proactive Dr. Dawes, right, is. And this is someone who needs to definitely run the health sector as far as me concerned.
Yeah, man. Right? 100%.
All right. So look at this melting pot and listen.
Factoring all of these determinants that contribute towards an outbreak, you go in, you engage community leaders, you launch public education campaigns, you clean up the place, sanitize, ensure that you have adequate garbage collection, ensure that you have potable water, you treat breeding sites, you do fogging, get rid of the vectors, and then you may reach a point where you do not have a spike in cases. And that is real primary prevention. That is the basis of public health, which has been proven to work over 100 years now. So maybe 200 years from the cholera epidemic in England. So we want to entreat those who are in charge of the disaster recovery to employ early warning systems for healthcare now. Not just surveillance to say that you have spikes, but predicting the likely locations of outbreaks and intervening. And to do that, you must combine environmental data, behavioral patterns, historical outbreaks, and you must also ramp up testing capabilities, confirmation testing, as well as introducing rapid testing. And with that, we can have early intervention, a simple penicillin that can save lives in the case of leptospirosis, or the treatment of renal failure with fluids early out. Dengue, you identify when it has become the hemorrhagic fever where you're bleeding out, and have early intervention as well. And we must have a mechanism where you have real-time reporting of fever. If you have a fever, there must be a way for you to report that you have it so that you can get tested. Vector control has to be augmented by private contractors, bringing in back the part-time workers, but the schedule for vector control cannot be such that communities, such as mine in Southeast St. Catherine, basically have fogging once every 2 weeks at best, and we have 18 communities, and we are plagued with mosquitoes in Portmore. So we have to ramp up vector control immediately, and because garbage pileup leads to rodent infestation, we have to ensure that garbage is being collected across the island in a timely manner. For communities where you cannot effectively solve the issue, especially if there's rising groundwater, evacuate the residents. Get them out of the conditions that are going to lead to respiratory illnesses, waterborne diseases, as well as those that are vector-borne. And of course, you have to, and this is echoing the call of all my colleagues, do not try to do it alone. Engage both sides of the political divide. Engage community-based organizations, the church, community leaders, get everybody on board to identify the most vulnerable, to pinpoint the areas where you have to have a heightened presence And this is the only way we can have an effective response. We may have to consider looking at the distribution of mosquito nets and repellents to avoid persons who are living outdoors and in shelters getting bitten by mosquitoes. And of course, the Ministry of Health has to anticipate that if all of these measures fail, we're going to have a surge in patients coming into the hospitals. What is the surge plan in terms of bed capacity, in terms of staffing, testing, and treatment?
All right. Based on Dr. Dawes, I'm not even going to call it right any form of criticism. I think coming from Dr. Dawes, being a professional doctor, right, was disseminating right vital information that is necessary right to prevent these bacterial agents, right? And what he's pointing out right then and there is saying that there is no proactive actions right to prevent the spread right of those bacterial agents that can lead to death and other serious ailment. Now he mentioned something that is very much important. Even now, as we speak, melting pot, the Jamaica Labour Party administration. And I don't know how this woman from World Bank saying that Andrew Holness respond in such a professional and excellent way. We are talking about areas that currently contaminated. Contaminated. People in a particular space, confined space, right? They have no place to pass their stool, right, in a very sanitary way, right? And all other things that, but that particular area as it relates to dead animals, right, dead bodies, right, another serious situation that helped to contaminate the zone. People are still living in that area, melting pot. People are still living in the area and have not yet been evacuated as we speak, as you and I speaking right now. So then, how does this government being proactive? How does someone sells a notion that Andrew Holness had performed well? I just can't see that. So you can see, you have said something, melting pot, where I fully agree with you, that it is crony capitalism is just endorsing, right, a platform to make the crony capitalists look good. Because that's how I see it. Because you knew very well that definitely Andrew Holness is a failure. As we speak, right, persons are still in the contaminated zone, still there, living in the mud, right? We have breaking off sewage line, all sorts of things, dead animal, all sorts of things, and the people are still in the area. All now, Andrew Holness administration has not yet moved towards evacuating some of those. As a matter of fact, melting pot, the Andrew Holness administration is actually kicking out people out of
Petersfield.
Out of shelters. They are now they are now kicking out people out of shelters. So then I am saying, okay, when you kick these people out of shelters, what provided for them? What area provided for them to go? Where is there any place provided for them to go? Right? It just doesn't make any sense, and the whole thing is just crazy. Let me hear your input on it, melting pot.
Well, as it relates to the whole saga, and we know so evacuation supposed to be a process when you have these type of devastation in our region, as it relates to high flooding and high rising water becomes saturated, dead bodies, dead animals, and all these things. So evacuation must be one of the, primary objective where any government supposed to undertake. You understand? Now, with all that being said and done, we're just gonna highlight how Andrew Holness operate. Because the presentation that Dr. Alfred has given us, yeah, as a pre-preparation for the government. That should be coming from Tough Tongue. But Tough Tongue is not equipped with the knowledge of a Dr. Alfred does. So even when him get it from the real doctor and get it presented in an eloquent manner, Andrew Wallace did not act on the advice. And this is why we are now seeing the numbers as it relates to suspected case, confirmed cases and death. And as we speak at the moment, people are still camped in that region. They have been evacuated. And then when you hear about people in shelter at Petersfield, that the people them in charge of Petersfield School want to put the people out on the playground. If them ever do that, they've in serious breach of human rights. So I'm just advising them, think twice. Think twice. Stop on the bullshit. Yeah, because the school them can't get back in a full swing of operation until the government fix the local infrastructure. Because most of these kids going to these schools are still living in mud and living in affected area as it relates to high stench. Yeah? So when you bungle up everybody now in a school, is that herd you mean it? Is that herd amenity that a spread or no one spread the contaminated virus? We don't know what we're not doing, you know. Because we work back way. And that we see a go on under Andrew Wallace administration. They are working from a different angle. Approach the thing the right and proper way. Using the designated protocol.
But Melting Pot, if they are Buckway workers, how do you expect them to work?
Well, them can't work. Somebody just tell them now so them to go back to the protocol that is there. But all of these programs, they have protocol, you know. But what Andrew Wallace do, the place to control the protocol, him not destroy it and dismantle it, man, at PEM. So Andrew put everything on the back foot in a Jamaica surrounding Hurricane Melissa, you know. All the relief and the aid supposed to get to the people. Him slope that because I have an agenda. Andrew Wallace is a mastermind of corruption. And when you have a mastermind of corruption, you have to look for anything. Anything is possible. Why would Andrew Wallace fly over ground zero, get a bird eye view of the situation, but, you know, did not address ground zero on a timely scale? Him sit down and wait till ground zero becomes sub-zero. You understand? Drop below even the zero. When the people have lived through this few much weeks now and still not get no assistance, dead body still exists in the region them. Yeah. Lonesome say, I yesterday when I'm virgin, call him and tell him say, him go bury him uncle with them go find dead. Just where they him dead from the storm blow. Them have to still bury him because you know him not stay good. So it just to show you and highlight how grave the situation is in Jamaica as it relates to the health sector not being there to do its part to make sure no say you don't make the health deteriorate where we have an epidemic. Yeah, where we have outbreak in all these virus disease like leptospirosis, yeah, dengue, cholera, and all them type of thing there. Yeah. Because that going around the country in a more millions and billions. So Andrew Wallace them perform like a nonsensical organization. You understand? Them not organized, you know, as a government, you know. They are not organized people. The task we face them, you know. The whole of them panic, you know. Even Andrew Wallace panic. Because right now, him don't know what to do with the money, you know. But he want TPT, him want to link up with the Clinton them. But a panic mood set in for Andrew Wallace. That's why you hear make so much celebration in the parliament over the 6.7 billion. Not taking into consideration what it going to do to Jamaica people in future decades to come. Yeah, future generation pan generation pan generation. Jamaica still not the under and the grip of the capitalist them. Yeah, because we're not debt free. Yeah, imagine Patterson dead free the country, man. Dead free the country in the 90s, you know. Unless I'm 3 decade, we almost are wrapped up 5 trillion in foreign debt. So this is just how shambolic administration Andrew Holness preside over. And the fact of the matter say, even though we hear some guy talk about him, not like bright people around him, so that one they claim saying bright, but I wonder if done Sir Andrew. Because him task as Minister of Health is a more simpler job than Andrew job. But tough tongue fly out go do all operation pan Nene at the same time when Melissa left all the country. Him come back, but him non-existent, you know, see him down the time. You see them when them come to tell and they just score a lie.
But when I'm melting pot,
when them want to chop some money.
Melting pot, you said something which is very important. You said Dr. Christopher Tufton flew out of the country to seek medical assistance. So what does that say? But what does that say for the political optics? Because if you have done that, you are saying that there is you couldn't get that assistance from Jamaica, and I wish you understand, at the helm of that ministry, right? So isn't that there's no form of system in Jamaica that could aid to Dr. Tufton condition? So
the system where we have, where him create them that use it. Just the people who can live through it and who dead.
So what does that say to us? If the one is at the helm is flying out of Jamaica to seek medical attention, right? Over which he at the helm, what does it say to us?
Tell me it's not exists.
Okay, go ahead.
Healthcare sub-zero.
All right.
But we did label him as the minister as a sub-zero performer, you know. When them that say him as the best performer. Well, we do it. Due diligence for him and find himself sub-zero, man. Him not do nothing. Remember the guy move money left, right, and center and mash up the health sector, you know. Remember him have a project where can't done, you know. We stretch and run, go on, so almost head towards $30 billion, you know. From an initial phase of $2 billion. Yeah. So we can't look on them guys and give them no farmer credibility. Because them not do no work. They mash up the sector. They rob the money willy-nilly. Rob it using do all various type of activity. Market me and having a relationship on the back of 85 million. You understand? So all these things are wrong. Remember, him can't pay the staff them. Him can't provide the basic amenity for the hospital them. All window gone too. Mosquito come in for the people, and rain a drop on them like out a door them there. No machine, no dialysis machine, no nothing in that place. You get a broken leg in an accident out the road. Hospital now look after you have to go private. Yeah? You have to go private, but a lot of health insurance are draw from the people in Jamaica, you know. A lot of health insurance. Because when you pay NIS, you know, your national insurance, you know, it's supposed to cover even that too. You understand? Supposed to cover that. The government is a rural government, Byron. And because the people in the country, you know how to hold them accountable. Because the people are not privy to what them say, because sometimes them use some word that the people them not understand, you know. Yeah. So this is how them get with the wrongdoing. So we have to be the voice to the people them.
Exactly.
When them listen, we them understand what we are saying. You understand? And this is why we are saying to the people them, it's time on a more rally around the cry, and where we are crying for now. Yeah? Drawing people to the message, yeah, make them listen, because these are the teaching with the guide Jamaica in the future. You understand? Jamaica need guidance, the people need guidance to take on in the 30th. You understand? Because we are close out the 20, you know. You understand? We are going at the 2030 soon. The same period where Andrew did promise the people of Jamaica first world status. But that not on the table again, that cancel. Yeah, that destroy, that plan there. And him can't say, Melissa destroyed, you know. It never did get off the ground. So we have to say to the people, them say, no, you have to choose a new leader. That one you fail in the 20s. You cannot carry him over in the 30s. You have to get rid of him. Like, no! And it take a concerted effort amongst people. We need the citizens now to rally around the cause of Jamaica and not the cause around the politician or no party. Rally for Jamaica. And him telling you to choose Jamaica where they know. Because I'm telling you, say, the party not choose you know. So you better choose in one country. You won't choose the Labour Party. You notice him never telling you say choose the Jamaica Labour Party. Him say choose Jamaica. So you try and make sure you take control of the country now and put it in a person and we can tell you say, well, you have now. Jamaica choose you now.
Exactly.
Because our country is supposed to respond to its citizens, you know.
Yes.
By leadership, providing and rolling out programs that will aid and benefit everybody in the country. Where you grow your country to an extent where you have solid GDP, where everybody have livable means of wages in a circulate through the man. Yeah? None of the little thing where you call minimum wage not gonna where you must have a livable means of wages coming to you where you can live, not just by providing for food, but you can do saving, but not into bank like NCB where you take out your money. So all of them corruption that the government have to clean up that.
You have to avoid that.
You have to avoid bank like NCB. You have to avoid any entity where you see I deal with corruption. So if you have to go back to the little man we have the corner thing, or go back to the partner banker, or go back to the mattress, or dig a hole somewhere in your yard and bury the same pan ya. When night come and nobody not see your patu. But you cannot put your money in a bank in a Jamaica. All the banks are committing fraud. I remember, you know, Andrew Wallace preside over that, you know. The man in charge of the Bank of Jamaica and preside over that because the whole of them are crony capitalists. The one of them have the same mentality, sing from the same in sheet. You understand? Congregating at the same nightclub. They are all friends. And then Michael Manley call the cliques. And Michael did one Jamaican about the cliques. So Jamaica now have to understand fully well so well you have now. The cliques will not enhance on a life. The cliques will keep on a poor and keep on a slave in a Jamaica in a modern time. Because remember, slavery was abolished, you know, by some hardcore slave themselves who refuse to be slave anymore. So we're not supposed to bring back slavery through the front door where you know a guy align himself to a party that preside along the blueprint of capitalism. Capitalism is not for poor people. Because Michael Manley was up against capitalism when him tell them say him alter the balance in favor of the black and the poor. Yeah. And he have no apology for doing that. He will not apologize to no one for altering the balance in favor of the black and the poor. So that was Michael Manley philosophy against the capitalist philosophy, who was for the big men, who labeled our citizens who had gone to Cuba to get skill and education as brigadista, Marxist, Leninist. You understand? And that them say no, Marxist, Leninist regime and Seaga terms it not in one terminology as brigadista. So everybody with it gone to Cuba where Michael Manley has sent pan exchange program as it relates to skill and education. Seaga and the Labour Party label them as brigadista. So you have to wonder that which one of the party have Jamaican interest. at them all. It can't be the Labour Party. It cannot be. This is why the Jamaican people are suffering. The majority are suffering. Them only look lively because them vibrant. We are a vibrant nation. That's the only thing we have going for it. Yeah? We will show a bright color even when time it dark around with. But we have to come out of that little syndrome, you know, and express the true color. When things not bright, everybody can know say it not bright, it dark. Stop playing politics within a life. Stop selling a vote. Because when you sell your vote, you know, you sell your democracy. Because remember, one politician has recently, as just the other day, you know, so them now be good nothing because them buy on a vote. And the politician was so right. Because if I buy something, it belongs to me. Whatever I do with it is by choice. But they could never sell the vote. That individual could use that terms of reference. So we hold them accountable, as well. Andrew said when him a leader of the opposition, hold government accountable. Him tell you say like a government, and is the government responsible. Hold government accountable. So when people are saying market and a market a Jamaica problem, Andrew and him kleptocratic regime, that is Jamaica problem. Market fight for the beach. Andrew and him operative them sell out on the beach and give on the beach and exchange on the beaches for all type of various gifts. So now if you understand, Labour Party will not participate alongside the Jamaican. Labour Party participate alongside the big boys them from up so. Common people will always be common against capitalists. We're wrong, we don't know. We don't forget the drift, man. The abbreviation of the party, they mean a lot, you know. The abbreviation of the two party mean a lot. One is about labor, and one is about people and nationalizing the people and bringing them together as one. One kill you with hard work and nothing in reward. So don't forget, wise to the idea and the reality of how the country are run. We don't know the structure of the two party them and what them have to offer and who has delivered. Who has delivered from who have make commitment. We don't know these things. And these things are food for thought, you know. These are just common sense. But instead of run for some scandal bag and some little shambolic money when I going away. 5,000, 10,000, 20,000. Them they no money. Them they no money. My people must be strong in their mind. Mentally tuned to take on corruption by fighting against corruption, pushing back on corruption. Stop entertaining corruption because corruption is diabolic to the man's soul and heart and mind. We're wrong with my Jamaican people. When corruption hits you, you know, it mash up every part of your body. Corruption is a virus. It feeds on all your inside parts. It destroys every organ in your body. Because if you not eat, you must get weak. If you consider you have mental breakdown and all these things align themselves to corruption. Because that is what corruption is designed to do. Corruption is a dictatorship style and method, you know. We rule over society, control society, manipulate society, mastermind society, and destroy society. And I yield back the floor to your brother Byron.
All right. I tell you, Melting Pot, trust me, powerful information, quite educating as well. Let us just wrap up, right, them two videos that we have because we well, we are almost reached 3 o'clock, so I could just use another 10 minutes in wrapping up this. All right, now this is where we are going, people, as it relates to when we listen to the bossy slave, you understand, bragging about, right, the assistance from the IMF. You know, while we say that, you know, it is good that the IMF is assisting us, right? But come on, it is not a charity, right? It is a loan that come to us, right? And we have to definitely pay about that. It's only 12 million of the 6.7 billion that considered to be grants. So make no bones about it that we have to, right, pay back the loan. And so then it's going to come with some severe pressure, right? So let us just bite into this. All right.
Purple House on the unprecedented level of international financial support mobilized for Jamaica following Hurricane Melissa, and to outline how this support aligns with our structured, disciplined, and forward-looking national reconstruction strategy. Madam Speaker, the international community has responded to Jamaica with remarkable solidarity, urgency, and confidence. Yesterday, the 1st of December 2025, the international financial institutions, the IMF, the World Bank Group, the Inter-American Development Bank, the Development Bank of Latin America and the Caribbean Development Bank, jointly announced a 3-year coordinated financing package of up to $6.7 billion to support Jamaica's US dollars, to support Jamaica's recovery, reconstruction, and long-term resilience. Madam Speaker, even before the announcement of this substantial international financing package, we already had in place a multi-layered disaster risk financing framework, which was the product of years of strategic planning, disciplined financial management, and proactive investment in resilience. This framework enabled rapid early response and the immediate mobilization of liquidity to meet the most urgent needs following Hurricane Melissa within days. Jamaica activated several instruments across our risk financing architecture. We had approximately Jamaican 5.3 billion in the contingencies fund and 1 billion in the National Natural Disaster Reserve Fund. We received US 91 million from the Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance Facility, CRIF, one of the largest payouts ever made in the region. And then we had the US $150 million under the catastrophe bond, triggered immediately based upon parametric thresholds. In addition, we had US $285 million available through the IDB's contingent credit facility for rapid liquidity support, which was upsized to $300 million, and US $42 million scalable to US $84 million available on request under the World Bank's catastrophe deferred drawdown option. Madam Speaker, this totals approximately US $662 million in liquidity that was available almost immediately following the hurricane. This is the very definition of planning, preparedness, and responsible governance. Our multi-layered approach ensured that Jamaica did not wait helplessly for external support. We were prepared and ready to act, ready to deliver, and ready to protect our people. However, Madam Speaker, the scale of the disaster is without precedent in our history. The widespread infrastructure damage, displacement of thousands of families, the destruction of livelihoods, and the long-term economic impacts mean that additional financing is required to support the reconstruction effort and to build a more resilient Jamaica. It is against this backdrop of strong national preparedness that the international community has now rallied behind Jamaica recognizing that we are not merely seeking help. We are ready to lead, ready to rebuild,
All right.
and ready to transform.
We don't need to hear much of it. I want to stop him because I don't like to focus my attention whenever this man is speaking, because definitely he has a credibility issue, although what he's reading out is important, right? So let me just stop share that and, you know, have a little ears as it relates to what Mark Golden, right, responded to that. All right, let us find that clip.
Only 12 million US out of how much? $7.6 billion is grant funding. Only 12 million US out of over 6 billion of programmed US funding is grant funding. That is the world that we as Jamaicans, both you on that side and us on this side, have to navigate. It's really a shame that the international financial community is still approaching the mitigation of the effects of climate-induced disasters on countries like ours by financing packages that are largely based on additional debt. These debts that we are now going to be incurring to finance our attempts at recovery are like lending money to a business that suffered losses through some kind of crisis that is trying to dig itself out of a hole from. Taking on additional debt to do that is going to be a challenging road for any country. Therefore, I don't think it's appropriate to treat these announcements in a triumphant way. We are going to be incurring the costs of paying back this massive additional borrowing in years to come. We are in a country which has spent the last 15 years seeking to get ourselves out of a debt trap, where we've had to run massive primary surpluses every year consistently to reduce our debt to GDP ratio, with a target that's written into our law incidentally by a government from this side, which we were anticipating would have been met this year before Melissa struck us. And now we are facing a new era of massive incremental borrowing. If you look at 3.6 billion US of sovereign debt, that's over 25% of GDP of additional borrowing. That does, and the 662 billion already available, only less than half of that is in a form that's not debt. Most of that is debt as well. This $2.4 billion of private capital, we look forward to seeing whether that will be forthcoming and in what volumes, because you can't project that you're going to receive private investment as part of your recovery. I'm glad that the multilaterals are going to support the effort, but at the end of the day, investors have to be willing and there have to be projects available to them that are bankable and investable. So we will see whether or not that happens.
All right. Melting Pot, let us reason this out a bit, right? Put some real reasoning to this by looking at some factors here, right? Which is very important to us. Now, all right. As it relates to Andrew Warner's administration being the government melting pot, right? And we're looking on our export bill and import bill. And on an average, and I'm talking, over the protracted period of Andrew Warner's leadership. So on an average, we are exporting $6 to $7 billion per year, and only
No, man.
we are importing. Sorry. We are importing $6 to $7 billion per year, and we are only exporting between $1.2 to $1.3 billion in terms of export, and we are seeing, a difference of over $5 billion in deficit.
Right.
So let us ask, what is the issue here in terms of why over such a long period of time we are unable to reduce that deficit between export and import? Now, the thing is, you have seen as it relates to we are not gaining the ability or the traction in paying down the debt. We are only sort of sustaining the debt, right? And so then in sustaining the debt and not able to pay down the debt, right? Now that now becomes a very serious problem to us, because the debt continues to grow. Now, where am I going? I am going in terms of the aim and focus on manufacturing. Why are we not manufacturing as much? It goes to energy cost, right, Melting Pot? High energy cost,
yeah,
right, sort of enable us to do so. Now, we have a situation as it relates to Melissa, right, where we are now facing a crisis as it relates to several of our food basket, right, being damaged, right, our tourism hub being damaged, and so forth. And so then here we are going to now seeking to utilize $6.7 billion in loan, which now is going to increase our debt per GDP ratio, right? Which now is going to now trigger inflation, which is now going to be very serious, right, on the citizens of Jamaica. Now, the only way we can come out of something like this, Melting Pot, if we turn the focus in terms of look at how fossil fuel cost us, the cost to us as it relates to fossil fuel, and study as it relates to renewable energy. If we target renewable energy, particularly solar, what is the, how feasible it is as it relates to pursuing renewable energy, right, as opposed to continuing down the vein of fossil fuel? Because that goes now, to me, goes in the pocket of crony capitalists who control the system of fossil fuel and controlling the system of depression. That now depressing, right, developing countries, you understand, to have the opportunity to grow, right? And as a result of that and the cost of energy, right, it is not feasible. It is not allowing the feasibility of us to expand in growth the way how we need to come out of our debt. So then I am saying, to the fact that, okay, you have a lot, whatever percentage of the grid being damaged, right, as it relates to people who are affected within the 7 parishes, the hurricane corridor, right, to alleviate some of the stress from the people, right? Would it be feasible? I'm just asking. I am no expert. I am no economist. would it be feasible, right, to have these people, right, shifting away from the grid and go solar, to use that as a case study, right, and see how much we can definitely focus on over a period of time, over, as it relates to the entire evolution, we slowly wean ourselves, right, from off the grid, and totally we can able to increase purchasing power, increase to manufacture more as a result of solar, right? It is not going to cause us much in doing that over time. The setting up of that might be expensive, but after setting up and we are utilizing that, right, over the period of time, it may show significant benefits. What say you on the matter, Melting Pot?
Well, I mean, every country have them resource, Yeah? God give them that.
Yes.
So, I mean, let's look at energy. Jamaica don't have oil, yeah? They have a refinery, yes? Because we bring in the crude oil and we process it to LNG, yeah? But what Jamaica have, at the sun, So from the inventor, them invent the solar panel, them, and that way the Jamaica should have a long time. But our government don't move with the time. Yeah? Our government, them, stay behind time. And them not proactive, them reacting to something we're gone already. You understand? It's just like water. We should have export water instead of missing man import water in Jamaica. We have the purest water anywhere in the world. You understand? But instead we don't capitalize on that. And that would bring millions and billions into the country. You understand? Now we have sun abundantly, we have waste. Yeah? And Jamaica, Minister of Mining and Energy, yeah? Them now look down them road there, because them want to keep the capitalist investment flowing in Jamaica. And fossil fuel is capital investors' priority. To have it in Jamaica, it has suppressed Jamaica manufacturing sector. That is why we now get no investor come to the country. Because we operate a factory inside of Jamaica, the fuel cost, yeah, as it relates to your energy, it's enormous. It's enormous. Because when you are going to use a currency that has no value and operate in that zone there, yeah, it not really going to sustain your business, The economy too weak. And then when you have a weak economy, everything gone through the roof. And so that now attract investors. You understand? So our government have to find a way of reducing the energy bill so that we can keep most of the foreign exchange where the country earn, because a lot of that go back into energy. You understand? Yeah? And I mean, the panel them, you roll it out on a phase basis. Yeah? I remember that would have put more food, help to put more food on the Jamaican table. Yeah? People that can eat better because you have more money. You go to the supermarket or the grocery shop or the corner shop. Because you know, give a light to GPS. I want to tell you, I go make money from GPS. Because you're not going to be able to use up all that we have, So the grid take it from you. So when the grid take it from you now and have that, the grid can say to investors, come in, you have energy, can supply you, at an affordable rate. Then you see energy, you see investor come, manufacturing investor come in Jamaica.
Yeah, but what on the melting pot? I love what T said here, and which is true in terms of what T is saying. T said solar energy will empower the people, and the gatekeepers can't allow that because They don't want the people independent. And
independent.
Jamaican did say something which is very important too, because I like these interactions. Hear what Jamaican is saying. Byron, JPS would have to be willing to work with the government to establish solar generation. But you know that such initiatives will affect their bottom line and, where he said, and dilute their monopoly. Right? This is what we are talking about. And these are serious situations.
Well, I going to say something in regards to that, Sir B. This is why when Bruce Collins started, let off the whole of capital investment them to investor. It is wrong. Jamaica should be in control of JPS. Then the government now would be in control of the idea I want to operate the energy in our country. But when you have 80% in our investors on, you can't dictate how the company operate. So this is why rolling out the solar panel in Jamaica, is posing an obstacle. Because who can do it can't do it. And who have the company don't want to go down that road because it won't benefit them.
You're so right with what you're saying, because it seems like that is the way our crony capitalists continue to manipulate our economy.
Exactly.
Right? And at some point, our politicians have to be brave, right? And all right, this is the situation now with JPS, right? What is some of the contractual agreement in terms of, okay, if we're willing to give JPS 8 years, right, of the license, right? Why are we talking about fossil fuel competition? We shouldn't be going there. I think the argument that, right, we should be having with JPS, right, is a program that would, utilize, right, and focus on solar, right, so that over a period of time, right, we can be able to become sustainable in terms of our own energy, and which now will increase purchasing power in our own pocket, right, and which is good for the country to manufacture more.
Yeah, that's what I increase production.
Yes, someone also mentioned in the chat that we need to reduce, right, on our imports, and that is so right. You understand? Because some of the things that we are importing really and truly not necessary for us. So we need to get this right. We need to get this right.
We don't need to import onion, red peas, carrot, and them thing there, no.
No.
None of them. No ground provision Jamaica not supposed to import. But a corruption, why that is happening? Remember I said James Roberts have 2 importation licenses, we classify as Class A, So that the people if you understand.
All right, Melton Pot, what you know? Lyndon Green said, bear in mind people who have the import license. Some of those people who have the import license are the same politician, If you talk about James Roberts, right? But that can't good for our farmers if James Roberts is a politician. How does that good for the country if James Roberts is a politician? You understand? He's running competition with our farmers by buying American products. You understand? Bringing in American products in our country to compete with our farmers. This is a politician who will vote for. So I don't understand the priority here. Why should James Robertson, you understand, being allowed any license at all, right, to compete with our local farmers, giving our local farmers competition? You understand? That doesn't make any sense. That is not political representation. That is political victimization.
Right.
Ahead,
and what it is the fact that when the leader corrupt, everything I go get corrupt. Because here it is now. Party member them know say Andrew corrupt and them are steal, Yeah? Because them see when them cut the big cake, and them see where them take. So when them realize them have to give everybody a slice of the cake too. Tough tongue applies to import rice. So James Robert, you import agriculture. People them have gas station out of the loot, out of Petrojam. And I said just going around everybody. Pumbaa have hotel and land and them thing. The Pernell Child get female land. JC Hutchins get land. You see the thing I share up. The thing is sharing up, Sir B.
Yeah.
Remember, say Bushrat a pay apartment him take to give out planning permission, you know. Remember, even Feder ravish KSMAC, you know. The amount of millions when benefit by milking that, you know, and turn it in a bottle, you know. We have be a concubine down at that. So this is the problem we have. And with Agintai, him not make pay money off of the car dealership thing, man.
Yes.
And Bushing and all them sit them and I hold it. Everybody make them money, you know. Danville Scrappy Walker. All right, hold on there. Remember, say Danville Scrappy Walker and Juliet Wallis, you know. And them make all the money off of the used car we come in at Jamaica, you know. We have to pay them the 150 US, you know. For one car, you know. A long time them a make money. Long time these people a make money alongside the job where we elect them to do. They're not working for the country. They are capitalists themselves.
All right, Melting Pot, hear what Lyndell McCormack is saying here. He said, Mr. Green, it is the government that issuing all import license. What is needed is a limited amount of targeting license for specific items, and I do agree with what he's saying here. Because the thing is, what it seems to me that the government policies becomes, you understand, the government own enemy. You understand, their policies becomes enemy to them because you have to, this is what Lyndell's saying here, right? As it relates to, right, what is going to create competition, unnecessary competition for us. And if you want to entice or encourage our farmers, right, why are you giving license, right, for persons to import the very same items that is going to be competing with our farmers? It doesn't make any sense. So the government policy is hurting our economy from growing. And it is hurting our farmers to compete as well and to compete effectively in the market. The government shouldn't be doing that. You see what I'm saying, Pat? So I totally agree with Lyndell McCormack here.
Point well taken.
Yeah.
But the simple fact of the matter, you know, is that this government has always lied to the people, you know. So when them say them have to pay you, you know, for themselves, a reverse psychology them play. If them say them are going to boost agriculture market, yeah, in terms of agriculture production in the country, it boosts, but it don't boost by producing locally. It boosts by importation because one of them big boyfriend round them have license.
Ah, boy. They say the
kickback. So them boost it.
Corruption.
Kickback again. Everybody have something, you know. Everybody have something. Everybody have something. Remember that Rimple did I live off of the what you call it, you know, the allowances, you know. She don't live off of allowance too much years. Everybody have something them live off of in our politics. Remember, you have some import or some various thing with damage to society, you know. Remember, you have people where at sell gun license, you know. Remember, you have all media where you benefit of a taxpayer, you know. Because farmer ring round the corruption, them speak to the corrupted people, them broadcast the lie. You know, see a guy get 10 right off and still owe 1.5 billion. So what that I tell you, say? You know, so many corporate entity don't pay them corporate tax. But the small people have to pay them land tax and them car tax and them ticket where them get as road tax. You know, see, the handcard man have to pay for operating at Kingston. You know, see, vendor have to pay for sell on roadside. But people with big enterprise now pay no tax. My Jamaican people no wake up and smell the coffee. We don't see what I'm doing now. How much more me keep me for stay and not telling you and I point it out to you. If down to the handcard man, under the Labour government, them have to, if them impose a tax on them, and them have to pay for operate, vendors have to pay for operate as you can't sell. Yeah? But these people with big multi-million enterprise not paying no tax, but the country still a run. and the country have to run off a tax. Don't know sister how not be the brunt of the burden. You know, sister Andrew taking off a donkey and loading up with hamper as it relates to high inflation and tax.
That's no joke. Tell them melting pot, that's no joke. Huh. Real talk.
Brother, I see 1% left on the board.
All right, so we are going to close it out. Well,
yeah, man, and come back, come give them some more. They said recipe a little more, man.
All right, you have to chop it now, people. We want to say big thanks for, to tune in. And remember, later, people, later will be greater. So
a greater thing later, man. Away as man.
All right.
Later on, name the Friday night edition, you know. The one that takes you into the weekend, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
all right.
So people line up, roll in back later, bless up, melting pot, big up yourself.
As usual, my brother. Big up.
All right. Blessings.
I know why you come to me with that foolishness, you know. You elect a prime minister, and is a prime minister run the country. It is time we learn to hold our leaders accountable for their actions and stop making excuses for them. Stop making excuses. Otherwise, go elect the people who really run in the country. And I don't want the right start that stupid argument. Hold the people you elect accountable and stop making excuses for them.